Chapter 607. Before Song Gij was out of confinement, she wanted to get Injin to have another child. She used the reason that the child missed his father to call Injin over. After all, it was his first child, so he was promoted to a father. Injin would go to Song Gij's courtyard to sit. Song Gij would ask the nanny to bring the child over in advance. Injin looked at the thin and weak child. He was held motionless in the nanny's arms and slept with his eyes closed. If it wasn't for his nose trembling slightly, he would have thought that the child was gone. Injin was very sad. The doctor said that the child might die early. Injin rarely went to Song Gij's courtyard. He really didn't want to have any feelings for the child. If the child went, he would be sad. If Song Gij used such a reason to call Injin again, Injin wouldn't go to her courtyard. Song Gij was very angry. She was so angry that she pointed at the child in the swaddling clothes and scolded the debt-collecting girl. After scolding, she hugged the child and cried. As she cried, she apologized. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." When Ningshu heard about this, he felt that Song Gij was probably suffering from postpartum depression. She originally had great expectations for the child in her stomach. The pain of pregnancy and childbirth was painful. In the end, she gave birth to a girl. She felt that her efforts didn't get the corresponding return. She felt too disappointed. Song Gij had always thought that she would give birth to Injin's eldest son. But now, it was an extremely thin and weak girl. Song Gij's disappointment could be imagined. Most importantly, Injin didn't show any love for this child. Song Gij felt depressed and vented all her anger on the child. She didn't even sew a piece of clothing for her child. Children were the support of these women in the backyard. However, Song Gij's child didn't improve Song Gij's situation. She didn't get any additional benefits from this child. Song Gij didn't care about this child. Ningshu could only pay more attention to this child. Otherwise, he would really walk the same path as history. He wouldn't even have a title. In other words, the baby died before it was a month old. Song Gij's second child also had the same fate. Both of them died before they were even a month old. Children were very fragile. If Song Gij as a mother didn't care, how could the child grow up smoothly? Every night, Ningshu would boil goat milk to feed the baby. Then he would scrub the baby's body. The baby was very quiet and always slept with his eyes closed. When he peed or pooped, he would hum a few times. Sometimes when the wet nurse was not paying attention, the baby would have to wear a wet diaper for a long time. Ningshu sighed. She couldn't take care of the child all the time. She could only wait until the evening to make some food for her and wipe her body. Anyway, Ningshu didn't know what Gij Song wanted to do. She was ambitious and wanted to have a son, but she didn't have a son in her life. When she gave birth to a girl, she died before she was a month old. Song Gij was not a qualified mother. Ningshu looked at the thin and weak child. He didn't know if the child could live to be a month old. Good luck. Ningshu sighed and said to the child in the cradle. It was a very happy thing to be alive. After Gij Song was a month old, she wanted to have another child. She used the reason that the child should be named after a month old to find Injun. Injun didn't give the child a name. He said that he would wait until the child was a year old. Injun was worried that the child wouldn't be able to survive. It would be a blessing to give the child a name. Ningshu thought to himself, damn it. Even if he dies, he won't be a nameless brat. Injun was really cold and heartless in some aspects. He was mean and ungrateful. He killed his brother, and even gave his brother the nickname of pig and dog. Because his mother was biased towards her brother, she harbored resentment. Ningshu really couldn't figure out how such a cold-faced emperor could attract women. Could it be that although the iceberg was cold, it was charming after melting, causing transmigrated girls to fall in love with him? After Ulanara was pregnant, Li Gij, who was the future consort Qi, was also found to be a month pregnant. Song Gij Song felt very uncomfortable when she saw that Ulanara was pregnant. Now that another person was pregnant, she became even more anxious. She wanted to give birth to a son. Injun was quite happy. It was a blessing to have more children. However, he was afraid that he would be as weak as his first child. He gave the supplements in his warehouse to the two pregnant women. Song Gij Song was so angry that her head was dizzy. Previously, when she was pregnant, she only received some supplements from Di Fujin. She didn't receive any supplements from Difujin at all. She was Difujin's first woman, and gave birth to Difujin's first child. Song Gijsong had lost her composure ever since she was pregnant. Ningxu didn't care about Gijsong. At least now, Gijsong was a month old. When she was a month old, she would occasionally open her eyes. At other times, she would close her eyes. She didn't even bother to move her hands and feet. Ningxu would sometimes gently pinch her small arms and legs. This backyard was really a place where women were buried. In order to pursue benefits and glory, even the nature of mother and child could be distorted. A mother loved her child, but Song Gijsong's love was conditional, and that was that the child was a boy. She was so lucky to be born, but she didn't know how to feel sorry for her. Men married so many women in order to reproduce more children, but the more women there were in the backyard, the fewer children there were. More and more children died young, and the children became consumables in the women's struggle. Ningxu was still a sweeper in the Neohuru clan's courtyard. The Neohuru clan's attitude towards her was indifferent, but when they visited other Gijsong, or went out of the courtyard, they would bring her along. They seemed to trust her very much, which made Ningxu's heart tingle. She couldn't figure out what the Neohuru clan was doing. This posture seemed to be cultivating her as a personal maid. In fact, Ningxu felt that the Neohuru clan didn't trust her. Ningxu didn't care. It was enough to protect her life in this backyard. No matter how much she thought about it, it was useless. Meowling, I have something to ask you. Tongyu walked into the room and said to Ningxu. Ningxu put away the powder on the table and asked Tongyu. Sister Tongyu, what's the matter? Tongyu was the closest person to the Neohuru clan. It was said that the two of them grew up together. Tongyu followed the Neohuru clan to Baylor residence. Tongyu came to Ningxu, which basically represented the will of the Neohuru clan. Tongyu hesitated for a moment. Ningxu asked, do you have any folk prescription for giving birth? Ningxu was stunned for a moment. Gijsong, do you want it? Tongyu said. Now several Gijsongs in Baylor residence are pregnant. Master Baylor also went to Gijsong's courtyard. Why is there no news of Gijsong's pregnancy? So I want to ask if you have any folk prescription. Tongyu looked at Ningxu. Ningxu shook his head and said, I don't have any folk prescription for giving birth. Gij's body is very good. She really doesn't need to take any medicine. Instead, it will damage her body. Gijsong will definitely be pregnant. Don't worry. You can find the doctor in the residence to nurse her body. Ningxu didn't have any secret prescription for giving birth. Chapter 608. He guessed that the Neohuru clan was a little anxious. The women in the backyard were getting pregnant one after another. Ningxu felt that the Neohuru clan didn't need to be anxious at all. Things were destined, so there was no need to be anxious. Ningxu said, Gij's body is really good. She doesn't need to take any folk prescription. All medicine is 30% poisonous, and it will harm the body. Tongyu nodded. I just saw what you were busy with. What is it? I made some sachets to repel mosquitoes. Do you want one? I'll give you one. Ningxu took out a sachet. There are a lot of mosquitoes in the summer. Wearing it can prevent mosquito bites. Okay. Tongyu took the sachet and left. Ningxu couldn't figure it out. There were doctors in the mansion who were on call. Why did the Neohuru clan ask her? Were they testing her? Tongyu walked into the room and bowed to the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan was slowly rubbing pearl cream on her hands, making her hands look as white as jade. It was very beautiful. Seeing Tongyu come back, she asked, what did that girl say? Gij, Meowling said that she didn't have any folk prescription. She also said that all medicine is 30% poisonous. She told Gij not to try folk prescription. Tongyu told the Neohuru clan everything she told Ningxu. The Neohuru clan smiled and said, she is an honest person. If she uses this matter to flatter me, I will be worried about her. She can help Gijsong give birth to a child. She has some ability. Having such a person with medical skills by her side will be a help. How is she recently? Tongyu said, she is honest every day. She does her duty. She also has little contact with the other maids. The Neohuru clan frowned. Is it true that she has no desires, or is she scheming? Let's talk about this later. The Neohuru clan looked worried. Touching her belly, Tongyu comforted the Neohuru clan. Gij, don't worry. Gij will definitely have a child. The Neohuru clan sighed and asked Tongyu to ask the maid for the folk prescription. She didn't have to use any folk prescription, but she really wanted to get pregnant. Gij, Chinchin Gardens, Gij is here. A maid walked in and reported to the Neohuru clan. The members of the Neohuru clan curled their lips. Tongyu curled her lips and said unhappily, "What is she doing here? Go and call that girl over for me." "It's Miao Ling," the head of the Neohuru clan said to Tongyu. "Tell her to come and serve us tea." Tongyu was a little confused. What does Gij want her to do? Just call her over. The head of the Neohuru clan rubbed his forehead and said. Tongyu went to call Ning Shu. Tongyu was confused and so was Ning Shu. When he walked into the hall, he saw the Neohuru clan and the little Neohuru clan talking. Tongyu put the tray in Ning Shu's hands and whispered, "Go in and pour tea for Gij." Ning Shu was still in a state of confusion. He carried the tray in and poured tea for the Neohuru clan and the little Neohuru clan. The little Neohuru clan looked at Ning Shu, then picked up the teacup and took a sip. He nodded and said, "The tea is pretty good." After pouring the tea, Ning Shu retreated to the side and became a pillar. The Neohuru clan asked the little Neohuru clan, "Why are you looking for me?" "Nothing. I just came to chat with my sister. It's boring to have nothing to do all day." The little Neohuru clan pointed to his chin and dipped his finger into the teacup, leaving a trail of water on the table. Ning Shu glanced at the thing that the little Neohuru clan had drawn on the table. On it were the words "Fourth Master." "Didn't you create something called cross-stitch? You can do embroidery when you have nothing to do." The Neohuru clan picked up the teacup and took a sip of tea. The little Neohuru clan wiped the water stains on his fingers with a handkerchief and said indifferently, "It's fun to create, but I don't have much patience." When Ning Shu heard about cross-stitch, he glanced at the little Neohuru clan. The little Neohuru clan should be a transmigrator. It was obvious what they wanted by squeezing into Injun's backyard. If the transmigrator was the little Neohuru clan, then there was a reborn person in this backyard. Who was the reborn person? The Ulanara clan? The Nying clan? Or someone else? "It seems that there's nothing fun here, sister. I'd better leave." The little Neohuru clan stood up, bowed to the Neohuru clan, turned around and left. The Neohuru clan looked at the back of the little Neohuru clan and turned around. Ning Shu said, "Put away the teacups." Yes. Ning Shu put away the teacups on the table, put them on the tray and went out. Ning Shu couldn't figure it out. The Neohuru clan dragged her out for a walk, and then locked her in the fence. What was wrong with them? Ning Shu suppressed the doubts in his heart, and went to take care of Gij in the middle of the night. Gij was now 2 months old, and her body had finally gained a little weight. Occasionally, she would move her arms and legs. Moreover, this child had developed a rather strange work and rest habit. She slept during the day, and waited for Ning Shu to come at night. She lay in the cradle with her eyes open. When she smelled the smell of goat milk, the child would hum twice. Ning Shu looked at the child, held her in his arms, and slowly fed the goat milk. There were some scratches on the child's face. The child occasionally scratched herself. The nanny could have made a small glove that looked like a cloth bag for the child, but she didn't. Ning Shu was really speechless with Gij Song. Ever since she was out of confinement, Song Gij Song tried to pull Injun to her courtyard. She wanted to have another child, another son. Now, she should take good care of the daughter she had already given birth to. Instead of working hard to pursue that illusory son, it was better to take good care of a considerate little cotton-padded jacket. After feeding the milk, he applied some anti-itch powder on the child's body, and then put her in the cradle. Ning Shu glanced at the nanny who was sleeping on the bed and shook his head. She applied the powder on the child. The child even had the smell of goat milk. But the nanny didn't notice anything wrong. Perhaps she saw it, but she didn't care. She didn't know how long she could take care of this child. Once the mission time was up, she would have to leave this world. But to be honest, the princesses of the Qing dynasty were relatively short-lived. They died in their 20s, and were usually sent to political marriages. But it was better than dying without knowing anything now. Ning Shu came to take care of the child in the middle of the night, every day for the past 2 months. During the day, she didn't have any interaction with the child at all. Ningxu didn't know when this mission would end, and 2333 didn't inform her to leave this world. She felt that she still had to stay. As more and more children appeared in the backyard, the conflict would become more and more serious. In short, there was a suffocating feeling that a storm was coming. Ningxu just wanted to protect herself in this backyard and survive. When the child fell asleep, Ningxu sneaked back to her room. Just as she walked to the door, she heard a voice. "What are you doing in the middle of the night?" Ningxu was shocked. She turned around and saw a person walking out of the shadows. It was Tongyu. "Why is Sister Tongyu here?" Ningxu asked in surprise. Tongyu frowned tightly. "I'm the one who should ask you where you went in the middle of the night. I've been waiting for you for a long time." Chapter 609. Ningxu didn't expect Tongyu to be waiting for him here. He felt as if he had been caught red-handed. "I just went to the latrine. I had diarrhea in the middle of the night," Ningxu said as he covered his stomach. Tongyu didn't really care where Ningxu went. She said, "Gidge is not feeling well. You go and take a look." Okay. Ningxu followed Tongyu to the Neohuru clan's room. The Neohuru clan was lying on the bed. Their faces didn't look too good. Ningxu came over to check the Neohuru clan's pulse. Finally he said, "Gidge is fine. It's just that her stomach is a little uncomfortable." A trace of disappointment flashed across the Neohuru clan's face. Tongyu saw the Neohuru clan's expression. Ningxu asked, "It's just an upset stomach?" Ningxu glanced at the Neohuru clan's and Tongyu's expressions. He understood that they probably felt that she might be pregnant. Ningxu said, "Then let me check it again." It was too late for the Neohuru clan to find a doctor in the mansion. They pulled her over. Ningxu checked her pulse. It wasn't a slippery pulse at all. "Gidge really has an upset stomach. Gidge doesn't need to worry." Ningxu withdrew his hand and said. The Neohuru clan nodded. "You can leave." Ningxu bowed and turned to leave the inner room. Tongyu followed him out of the room. She gave Ningxu a silver hairpin and said, "This is from Gidge." "I thank Gidge." Ningxu accepted the silver hairpin. Tongyu Ningxu asked, "Gidge really didn't?" Ningxu nodded. "Gidge's pulse doesn't have such symptoms now. It will take a month for her to have a slippery pulse. Gidge is very healthy. Don't worry. Go back and rest," Tongyu said to Ningxu. Ningxu bowed and left. Back in the room, Ningxu lay on the bed. She had a bad feeling in her heart. She felt that the Neohuru clan was now focusing their attention on her. They were no longer ignoring her like before. In this way, it would be more difficult for her to go to Gidge's room at night. This time, she was caught saying that she was going to poop. But what about next time? Now that she had finally managed to raise little Gidge a little better. It was at least a month old now. Ningxu had never understood what the Neohuru clan meant. Did they want to cultivate her to be her confidant? But there was no way to trust her. They could only observe her like this. Ningxu said that she just wanted to be a quiet little maid with no sense of existence. It was estimated that the Neohuru clan thought that she was a more useful person because she showed her face last time. Alas, Ningxu sighed in her heart. It would be more difficult to go to Gidge's room in the future. If she walked in the night for a long time, she would meet ghosts. If she did it too often, she would be caught. She felt so sad. She didn't have to worry so much about her baby. Couldn't Song Yunxian pay more attention to her daughter? Ningxu couldn't sleep. She simply practiced the unique martial arts for a long time. Since he came to this world, it had been almost a year since Song Yunxian was pregnant and gave birth. Gidge was 2 months pregnant. The unique martial arts only had a few strands of qi strength. Fortunately, he could practice it. If the qi strength could be transferred to other people's bodies, it would be great if it could repair other people's bodies. The qi strength of the unique martial arts could repair the body's internal injuries and strengthen the body. The biggest feature of Ningxu's unique martial arts was that it had infinite strength. When it was practiced to the extreme, the qi strength would turn into a golden dragon hovering in the dantian. If she could send the qi strength into Gidge's body, she could strengthen Gidge's body. The qi strength was the energy that the body needed. Ningxu mobilized the qi strength in her dantian. to see if she could force the qi strength out of her body. She wanted to see if she could transfer the energy into other people's bodies. Ning Shu tried again and again to guide the qi strength out of her dantian. It would be great if she could succeed. In the future, she couldn't take care of the child every night. If someone found out, she couldn't explain it clearly even if she had a mouth. Ning Shu tossed and turned until dawn, but she still couldn't guide the qi strength out. Instead, she was sweating all over. She wiped her body and began to clean the whole yard. She took a rag and wiped the floor and the railings. While cleaning, Ning Shu asked 2333 in her heart, "How can I guide the qi strength out of my body?" "I don't know," 2333 said directly. Ning Shu rolled her eyes. "Then what's the use of you trash?" "How am I trash?" 2333 asked in an agitated tone. Ning Shu sneered, "You're trash. Every time I ask you, you say you don't know. What do you know? It's such a simple question, and you don't even know." "Oh, why are you asking me such a simple question?" 2333 said in a disdainful tone. "This is a trial mission. I refuse to ask any questions." Useless broken system. Forget about formatting it. After finishing her work, Ning Shu returned to her room to think about how to guide the qi strength out of her body. Cough, cough, cough. 2333's voice sounded in Ning Shu's mind. Ning Shu rolled his eyes. "What?" "Use your mental power. Use your mental power to guide the qi strength out of your body. Not only can the qi strength strengthen the body, it can also be used as an attack weapon." 2333 said. "Mental power?" Ning Shu was a little surprised. Is mental power that important? All the numbers arranged by the system are useful. When your mental power is strong, you can move mountains with your mind. You can even control other people's thoughts. Hypnotism can be considered as the lowest level of mind control. 2333 said, "Every time I tell you, don't just focus on one or two attributes. If you find something you want to add, it's like you have a grudge. Oh, I'll add more attribute points to my mental power in the future." Ning Shu expressed that she didn't have enough attribute points. Previously, she had only added points to her martial strength. When she realized that wisdom was very important, she added points to wisdom and martial strength. Then, she realized that she was too fucking miserable. She added points to her luck. Now that she realized that mental strength was very important, she would have to add points to her mental strength in the future. If he had a choice, Ning Shu would just add all his attribute points to his martial power. If he was strong enough to destroy the earth, he could solve the problem with one punch. Well, that was not realistic. Then how should I use my mental power? Ning Shu asked 2333 a little confused. Use your mind. Use your mind. Are you a pig? I've told you a few times. Ning Shu, you're a pig. You're a pig. Ning Shu emptied his mind and used his mind to control the qi strength in his body. He wanted to guide the qi strength to his fingers. However, it was very difficult. Maybe Ning Shu was not used to using his mental power, or the qi strength was too small. It was difficult to control the qi strength that was as thin as a strand of hair. Before he could guide it to his arm, the qi strength had already dissipated. Ning Shu was not discouraged. Now that he knew the method, he could do it with more practice. Chapter 610. Ning Shu had been using his spiritual power to guide the peerless martial arts qi out of his body. It would be best if he could transfer it into other people's bodies. He did not know if it was because his spiritual power was not strong enough. But Ning Shu tried many times, but was unable to guide the qi out. Ning Shu could only experiment over and over again. While he could save his life, Ning Shu still very much wanted to complete this task. He continued to experiment. In addition to doing things, eating, and even sleeping time was spent on this. Finally, after half a month, he was able to guide the qi to his fingertips. Finally, he succeeded. Ning Shu felt a burst of joy in his heart. Being able to guide the qi out of the body could also be regarded as a form of attack. However, this was only possible when the qi was strong enough. Right now, the qi that was as thin as a strand of hair simply did not have any attack power. In the middle of the night, Ning Shu went to the kitchen to boil goat milk. He secretly went to the wet nurse's room, Looking at the baby in the cradle, he placed his hand on Gij's body and slowly guided the qi into Gij's body. When the qi entered Gij's body, Gij suddenly burst into tears. Ningxu was startled and quickly covered the baby's mouth. He saw the wet nurse on the bed was restlessly turning over. He guessed that the baby was no longer crying and did not get up to check. Ningxu was somewhat puzzled. This kind of energy was very gentle. Why did she cry? Looking down, he saw the baby had closed her eyes. Ningxu was shocked. She could not be dead, right? He quickly touched the baby's chest. Her heart was still beating. The baby seemed to be very sleepy. She did not even drink the goat milk. Ningxu placed the baby in the cradle and took a thin blanket to cover her. Carrying the goat milk out, Ningxu looked at the white goat milk and gulped down the entire bowl. Now, Ningxu felt more at ease. At least the qi from the peerless martial arts could slowly strengthen Gij's body. It would not be so easy for her to die prematurely. Now, Ningxu wouldn't look for Gij every night, because the Neohuru clan would occasionally ask her to keep watch at night. How could a cleaning girl like her turn to do something like keeping watch at night? Could it be that the Neohuru clan wanted to put her in an important position? Ningxu didn't say much. Since he was asked to keep watch, he would keep watch. After all, he didn't need to sleep during the night. He could also practice his peerless martial arts. If he could cultivate more qi gene, he could send some to Gij and strengthen his body. That night, it was Ningxu's turn to keep watch. Ningxu waited on the Neohuru clan to sleep. The Neohuru clan stretched out their hand and said to Ningxu, "Take my pulse." Ningxu put his hand on the Neohuru clan's wrist and felt for a while. Then, he met the eyes of the Neohuru clan and said, "Gij's body is very good." The Neohuru clan frowned, took back their hand and sighed. Now Fuji no Linara was almost 5 months pregnant, and Gijli was also pregnant. Injin came to her courtyard frequently. Why was she not pregnant yet? Gij, don't worry. When fate comes, good things will naturally happen. The future Qianlong had not yet been born, so there was no need to be so anxious. You can leave. The Neohuru clan pursed their lips and said. Ningxu bowed and turned to leave the inner room. He sat on the recliner in the outer room and began to practice his peerless martial arts. Wah wah wah. In the middle of the night, the whole Baylor mansion fell into silence. Suddenly, there was a loud cry. It kept on crying, and the sound was getting louder and louder. The lights in the rooms lit up one after another. Meowing, what's that sound? Is the child crying? The lazy voice of the Neohuru clan came from the inner room. Ningxu pushed the door open and walked in. He said, "It should be Gij crying." Ningxu frowned. He was a little anxious. Why was she crying? "Gij, shall we go and take a look?" Ningxu asked the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan sat up from the bed. Ningxu took the clothes and put them on her. The Neohuru clan thought for a moment. Ningxu said, "Go and take a look at the situation in the main courtyard. If the main courtyard hasn't moved, we won't go." Ningxu bowed. On the way to the main courtyard, he met the pregnant Ilinara and Injin. Injin was supporting the pregnant Ilinara, and there were many people behind them. Looking at the direction they were going, they should be going to Gij Song's courtyard. Ningxu immediately turned back and said to the Neohuru clan, "Gij, Master Baylor and Fujin are all there. Then let's go." The Neohuru clan simply dressed up and went there. Ningxu followed the Neohuru clan and arrived at the Song family's courtyard. Before entering the hall, he heard Gij's crying mixed with Gij Song's voice in the room. The Neohuru clan paused and walked in. Ningxu followed them and anxiously. He saw the Song family holding Gij Song, crying and scolding the nanny kneeling on the ground. "You evil woman, why do you treat my child like this?" Injin's face darkened. "What kind of nanny is this? When I went to see the child, I saw that she even hit the child. This is my child. It's not a servant's turn to treat her like this." The nanny's face was pale, and she sat on the ground dispiritedly. She was caught in the act, and she couldn't defend herself. The child in Gij Song's arms was still crying. No matter how Song Gij coaxed her, it didn't work. Anyway, she just stretched out her hands and kicked her legs to cry. Song Gij Song was hurt by Gij's kicks. "What's wrong with this child?" Ilinara said tiredly. She was pregnant, And such a thing happened in the middle of the night. Seeing her like this, Injin frowned more and more. His eyes were very sharp when he looked at Song family. His face was emotionless. And now his cold look was even scarier. What's going on? Injin asked Song Gij Song in a low voice. Song Gij Song was also about to cry. She didn't know what was wrong with the child. Being questioned by Injin like this, Song Gij Song was angry and anxious. She was afraid that she would make Injin unhappy, so she kept coaxing the child. Ning Shu whispered into the Neohura clan's ear. Gij Song should be hungry. Usually at this time, she would secretly get some sheep's milk for the child. Ever since she gave the child some strength, the child's body gradually improved. Moreover, her appetite had also increased. She could drink an entire bowl of sheep's milk, and her strength slowly increased. The strength was nourishing Gij Song's body, making her body better and better. However, she had to keep watch today, so she didn't get food for the child. Now that the child was hungry, she could only use crying to attract the attention of the adults. However, Ning Shu didn't expect the nanny to be so bold as to hit the child. Anyway, she wouldn't have a good time. Even if Injin didn't care about the child, his child wouldn't be bullied by others. Speaking of which, it was all Song Gij Song's fault as a mother. She didn't care much about her daughter. Occasionally, she would let the nanny carry the child in front of her to take a look. After taking a look, she would let the nanny carry the child away. The nanny didn't care much about it. Chapter 611. Master, is little Gij hungry? Nyanhila's voice carried a hint of speculation as she asked Chao Injin. Let me feed Gij milk, the nanny quickly said. The wet nurse, who was kneeling on the ground, said hurriedly. Her expression was full of annoyance. Now, she wanted to make up for her mistake and perform well. Injin sneered. I don't want my daughter to get close to a vicious woman like you. Injin asked his personal eunuch Su Peisheng to find a new nanny. Now Gij could eat some supplementary food. He made some stewed meat juice and vegetable porridge. Gij was already crying until she hiccuped. Now that there was food, she stopped crying and began to eat. Beat this nanny 10 times and chase her out of Baylor Manor, Yongjing said coldly. He glanced at Gij, who was eating. Gij was very good at eating. In just a short while, half a bowl of porridge had already gone down. She can eat so well. The haze in Injun's heart dissipated a little. He originally thought that this child would not live for more than a month. Now that she looked healthier and healthier, Injun's heart was a little comforted. As a mother, why didn't you notice that the nanny was like this? If the child hadn't cried tonight, I wouldn't have known that the nanny dared to treat my child. Injun looked at Song Gij and said coldly. Song Gij wiped her tears with a handkerchief and cried aggrievedly. Master, I really didn't expect her to be such a vicious person. She looks honest, but I didn't expect her to be so vicious. As a mother, don't you know what the child's situation is? If you don't want to raise this child, there are plenty of people who want to raise it. Injun's face was cold. Song Gij immediately knelt in front of Injun. Master, the child is my lifeblood. Injun snorted coldly and turned to Alanara. Fujin, go back and rest first. Alanara couldn't take it anymore, so she didn't force herself and left. All of you go back, Injun said to Gij. When Songshur saw that Injun seemed to want to stay, she was elated. Ning Shu followed behind the Neohuru clan and walked back. He heaved a sigh of relief. This matter had attracted Injun's attention. In the future, Gij's situation would be better. My child can't find a wet nurse like her in the future. She's too cruel. The member of the Neohuru clan who was walking in front said to Tongyu. Tongyu also felt incredulous. She's just a nanny. How dare she hit Master Beilei's child? The next day, Song Gij was grounded by Injun. Even Gij was handed over to Nyen, who was temporarily managing the backyard. Injun let Nyen take care of her for the time being. Song Gij cried and begged Injun not to take away her child. Injun said directly, You don't care about your child, but I do. We'll talk about it when the child is older. Ning Shu felt that Injun knew that Song Gij didn't care much about the child, so he gave the child to Nyen. As for whether the child would be returned to Song Gij in the future, or raised by Nyen, it was hard to say. Now it was even more difficult for her to see the child. She couldn't interfere even if she wanted to. The child's situation should be better. Nian was doing it for Injun. She wouldn't mistreat the child. It was better than being by Songshi's side. Ning Shu had no responsibility for Gij Song, so he didn't pay attention to her anymore. Ning Shu was now at ease as a cleaner in the Neohuru clan's courtyard. If the Neohuru clan didn't call her, she wouldn't go to the Neohuru clan. Ning Shu didn't think of climbing up the ladder. As long as she completed her task, she would leave this world. The Neohuru clan would occasionally ask Ning Shu some health knowledge, or eat some pregnancy-promoting food. They just wanted to get pregnant. When the child in Ulanara's stomach was ripe, she successfully gave birth to a son. He was the legitimate son and the eldest son. Injun was very happy. He was named Hong Hui when he was born. After holding a 1-month celebration for Hong Hui, Gijli also gave birth to a child. It was a girl, but Injun was also happy. Gij Song, who had been grounded until now, was furious when she heard the news. Injun didn't like her child, so she couldn't keep her child by her side. Ulanara was the legitimate son. It was fine if she gave birth to a boy, but Madame Li was a concubine like her. She gave birth to a girl, and Injun even rewarded her with something. Master Baylor was too unfair. The Neohuru clan went to see the two fair and tender children. Their eyes and hearts were full of envy. They touched their stomachs and didn't know when they would get pregnant. Ning Shu knew that the Neohuru clan would definitely have a child, and there would only be one child, Aizenjoro Hongli. However, having this child was better than having several children. Hongli was free and smart. He learned at the age of 5 and could recite with a glance. He was very liked by his grandfather Kangxi. He often praised his father in front of Kangxi. Hongli and the Neohuru clan were both long-lived and blessed people. One lived to 89 years old, and the other lived to 86 years old. Ning Shu didn't know when this task would end. Now Gij Song's child was living quite well. Madame Nian took good care of the child. It was said that he could even crawl on the ground now. Was this task not over yet? Not long after, Madame Gung found out that she was pregnant again. Moreover, Madame Li, who had just finished her confinement, was pregnant again. Madame Li could be said to be the most fertile woman in Injun's harem. Hongli, and Hongli were all born by her. With so many women in the harem getting pregnant, the Neohuru clan was even more suspicious that they couldn't get pregnant. Why could others get pregnant but they couldn't? The Neohuru clan said to Ning Shu, "Feel my pulse and see if there is any hidden disease in my body. I have been in the house for so long. Why haven't I gotten pregnant yet?" Ning Shu felt helpless in his heart. On the surface, he felt the pulse of the Neohuru clan seriously and said, "Gij's body is really fine. Good fruit doesn't need to be late to ripen. Gij doesn't need to worry." "How can I not worry?" The Neohuru clan said anxiously. "Gij, it's useless to be anxious." Ning Shu said calmly, "Gij should relax." Children were the support and capital of the harem women. In short, the Neohuru clan was a little anxious now. Gij will definitely get pregnant. Ning Shu comforted the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan nodded and didn't say anything. The Neohuru clan was still favored a lot, so they were anxious to get pregnant. Fortunately, the Neohuru clan's anxiety was quickly eliminated. 3 months after Madame Gung and Madame Li were pregnant, Ning Shu felt that the Neohuru clan's pulse was slippery. The Neohuru clan repeatedly asked Ning Shu if they were pregnant. Ning Shu checked many times and said cautiously, "Gij is pregnant. Now her pulse is a little weak. You can ask a doctor to come and take a look." The Neohuru clan let out a long breath, and finally felt relieved. Pregnancy meant that they could give birth. The happy Neohuru clan rewarded Ning Shu with a few taels of silver. Chapter 612. The news of the Neohuru clan's pregnancy hadn't spread yet. Instead, the Neohuru clan's baby was revealed. Coincidentally, she was also pregnant for more than a month. That was really strange. Ning Shu smacked his lips. They were sisters after all. They were pregnant together. The Neohuru clan also told Ulanara that they were pregnant. Ulanara's face flashed with a trace of coldness. Then, she asked the Neohuru clan and the Neohuru clan to take care of the babies. Ning Shu could feel that Ulanara didn't like the Neohuru clan very much. Even the Nian family, who was favored by Injin, wasn't so cold. The Neohuru clan was considerate in everything. They knew their own status very well and respected Elenara. However, Elenara's attitude towards the Neohuru clan was very cold. The Neohuru clan left Elenara's courtyard. The Neohuru clan's baby smiled and said to the Neohuru clan, "Sister, I didn't expect that we would be pregnant together. I wonder which of the two naughty children will come out first." The Neohuru clan smiled faintly and said, "They will come out when the time comes." The Neohuru clan didn't say much to the Neohuru clan. After a few words of greeting, they turned and left. Ning Shu followed the Neohuru clan. He turned back and glanced at the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan's baby was standing there with her hand on her belly. There was a faint smile on her face. Ning Shu withdrew his gaze. He guessed that there would be another fight next. Injin sent some tonics to the Neohuru clan's courtyard. The Neohuru clan took the tonics and put them in the storeroom without touching them. Obviously, they didn't want to eat the tonics sent by Injin. The head of the Neohuru clan said to Ning Shu, "In this courtyard, you are the only one who knows medicine. I hope you can pay more attention. When the child in my belly is born, you will be heavily rewarded." Ning Shu bowed. "This servant will do his best." The Neohuru clan nodded. They did not force Ning Shu to promise that he would do it. The world was ever-changing, and no one knew what would happen in the next moment. The Neohuru clan member touched her belly. No matter what, she had to protect her child. Although the Neohuru clan asked Ning Shu to help protect the child in her belly, they didn't let Ning Shu touch the food that was in their mouth. Obviously, they didn't fully trust Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't care. Every day, he swept the courtyard and wiped the floor. It was not his turn to worry about the child in the Neohuru clan's belly. The future emperor was blessed and would definitely be born safely. However, in the past few days, Ning Shu always felt that someone was watching him. Every time he went to the kitchen to eat, a servant girl would deliberately bump into him, then apologize to him and ask for his name. Ning Shu frowned. After observing for a few days, he was sure that the servant girl who bumped into him had something to say to him. During the meal, he found a remote place to sit down. The servant girl came over and sat opposite Ning Shu. Under the table, she handed a note to Ning Shu. Ning Shu accepted the note. After the meal, Ning Shu returned to his room and opened the note. On it was written, "See you at the rockery at midnight." Ning Shu had burned the note. Should he go and do it? Forget it, it was better not to go. If he got caught up in this kind of internal strife, he would die if he didn't pay attention. Ning Shu just wanted to live in this backyard until the end of the mission. The next day, when the servant girl saw Ning Shu, her eyes were questioning. She was obviously angry that Ning Shu didn't go yesterday. The maidservant carried the dishes and bumped into Ning Shu. It was obvious that she wanted to spill the dishes all over Ning Shu. Ning Shu dodged in a flash, but the maidservant tripped over the door sill and fell to the ground. All the soup and water splattered all over her body, creating a mess. The servant girl screamed and looked at Ning Shu with a bad look. However, she immediately changed her expression. Ning Shu said, "Can you help me? I want to go back to my room to change my clothes. My hand was cut by the shards. I heard that you know medicine. Can you help me treat the wound?" When the surrounding people saw the servant girl in such a sorry state, with her hand cut by the shards and blood dripping to the ground, they all said to Ning Shu, "Go and help her." Ning Shu helped the servant girl back to the room. The servant girl ignored the wound on her hand. Ning Shu asked, "Why didn't you come last night? My master was looking for you." "I'm just a little servant girl. There's nothing for your master to pay attention to." Ning Shu looked at her hand. "Do you want to treat your wound? If not, I'll leave first." Ning Shu turned and left. He didn't want to be entangled with these people. He didn't know who was targeting him. "Hey, wait. How can you leave just like that?" The servant girl stomped her feet and shouted at Ning Shu's back. Ning Shu didn't care about this. Nothing good would come out of looking for him now. She still wanted to live in this backyard. Occasionally, the Neohuru clan would let Ning Shu take their pulse. In fact, there were doctors who took the pulse of the Neohuru clan. There was no need at all. Letting her take the pulse was completely superfluous. However, Ning Shu still took the pulse of the Neohuru clan seriously and honestly. Then, he told the Neohuru clan about some of the forbidden foods one by one. The Neohuru clan remembered each and every one of them. They also rewarded Ning Shu with some money. Ning Shu had already received a lot of money since he came to the Neohuru clan's courtyard. Ning Shu was a little embarrassed. He couldn't figure out what the Neohuru clan meant by this. He didn't trust her at all. However, they would give him some money from time to time. It was much better than being in Gij Song's courtyard. Were they trying to subdue him? Ning Shu had a clear conscience. She didn't have any bad intentions towards the Neohuru clan. Everyone was on good terms. Ning Shu also wouldn't betray the Neohuru clan. Gij from Qingqing Garden is here. Tongyu walked in and said to the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan frowned and said to Ning Shu, "Come with me to take a look." The Neohuru clan saw the Neohuru clan. "Sister, I'm too bored. That's why I came to talk to you. You're pregnant. You'd better be careful," the Neohuru clan said lightly. The Neohuru clan didn't care much. "I'm just pregnant. I'm not disabled." "Nonsense." The Neohuru clan spat at her. The Neohuru clan looked at Ning Shu and said in an envious tone, "This maid knows medicine. Last time, when Gij Song had a difficult birth, it was this maid who treated her. Sister, you don't have to worry about giving birth." Ning Shu. Usually when she was mentioned, it wouldn't be a good thing. The Neohuru clan nodded and said, "Indeed. Moreover, it's a woman. It's more convenient. I really envy sister." The Neohuru clan looked at Ning Shu. "When I give birth, can sister lend me this maid?" The Neohuru clan was very straightforward. Who would use other people's maids? When a woman gave birth, it was like walking through the gates of hell. If someone were to kill her at this time, she wouldn't be able to come back. She might even lose her life. Chapter 613. Ning Shu didn't think that the little Neohuru clan really wanted him to help her deliver the baby. It was just a casual remark. "Sister, can I borrow this girl for a while?" "Sister, you know that I like to plant flowers. The courtyard is full of flowers. Now that I'm pregnant, I don't know if those flowers will be bad for the baby." The little Neohuru clan asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu. He had an inexplicable bad feeling. Why did they ask her for help instead of finding a doctor? The Neohuru clan glanced at Ning Shu and didn't immediately answer the little Neohuru clan. "Sister, just for a while. I'll ask someone to send her back in a while," the little Neohuru clan said coquettishly. The Neohuru clan could only nod. The little Neohuru clan immediately smiled. "I'll ask her to come back right away." Ning Shu followed the little Neohuru clan to her courtyard. When he walked into the courtyard, he smelled the fragrance of flowers. There were all kinds of flowers in the courtyard, and butterflies and bees were circling around the flowers. "Can you see if any of these flowers will harm the baby in my belly?" The little Neohuru clan waved to the maids behind her. These maids retreated and stood guard not far away. Only Ning Shu and the little Neohuru clan stood together. "Gij is pregnant now. It's better not to plant flowers," Ning Shu said. The little Neohuru clan wrinkled her nose and looked a little delicate. She nodded and said, "Yes, you can't plant them. Maybe the baby will be allergic to pollen." Ning Shu pretended not to hear the modern words that the little Neohuru clan said. "I know that you're not favored by my sister. You were Gij Song's person before. My sister won't trust you," the little Neohuru clan suddenly said. "I asked someone to look for you before, but you didn't come." Ning Shu immediately understood that the maid was from the little Neohuru clan. Ning Shu bowed and said, "Gij is very good to me. Whether someone is good or not doesn't depend on words. It depends on what you see with your eyes and feel with your heart. Sister actually doesn't trust you. Bringing you around is just a show for Fujin. As far as I know, you are not in an important position in sister's courtyard. You are only doing the work of a third-class cleaning maid." The little Neohuru clan curled up the corners of her mouth and said with a smile, "You are a capable person. I really hope that you can be by my side when I give birth. My sister doesn't want to trust you, but I'm willing to trust you." Ning Shu listened to the little Neohuru clan's words and understood that they were trying to rope her in. No, to be precise, they wanted her to work for them. Ning Shu bowed and said, Thank you for your praise, Gitch. I don't deserve it. The little Neohuru clan bent down and picked a flower. She put it on the tip of her nose and smelled it, saying, I'll be frank. I want the child in your Gidge's belly to disappear without anyone knowing. Gidge, I can't do that, Ningshu said with a look of horror. The little Neohuru clan stroked the flower with her fingers and said, Yes, you are a doctor. You must have a way. I have some medicine here. You just need to rub this medicine on your body and let her smell it. The child will die naturally. I'm sure it won't implicate you. Ningshu was stunned for a moment, and then she understood. This medicine would not cause the pregnant woman to miscarry directly, but let the child in the belly die slowly and become a stillborn. How could the little Neohuru clan do that? Moreover, she was related to the Neohuru clan by blood. I don't dare. Ningshu lowered her head and said in fear. The little Neohuru clan picked a flower and said, I believe you can do it. When the time comes, I will shower you with riches and honor. Ningshu treated these words as fart. Everyone liked loyal people. If she really did that, she would not be able to live, let alone riches and honor. Who would like a person who betrayed her master? She could betray others today and betray herself tomorrow. The little Neohuru clan was trying to kill the future Qianlong emperor. This is my reward for you. The little Neohuru clan waved to the maid on the side. The maid came over and handed Ningshu a red silk sachet. When the maid took out the sachet, the little Neohuru clan took a few steps back and covered their noses. Ningshu took the sachet and opened it. There were a few ingots of silver and a small bottle. In the small bottle, there were a few black pills with an elegant smell. Dissolve this pill and rub it on your hand or neck. The little Neohuru clan's Ningshu said. Ningshu was speechless. Gidge, I really can't do it. Ningshu refused directly. The little Neohuru clan said faintly, Do you think sister will still trust you if you go back now? From the moment you stepped into this courtyard, you have no choice. Ningshu was speechless. Do you really think you are the protagonist, just because you are a transmigrator? I will not treat you unfairly. The little Neohuru clan said faintly. The silver in your hand is only a small part. When you succeed, I will give you more silver notes. Ningshu smiled and put away the sachet. The little Neohuru clan's lips curled up. From now on, we are on the same side. Ningshu, ha 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 ha. After leaving the little Neohuru clan's courtyard, Ningshu took out a few pills and sniffed them. He analyzed the possible ingredients in them. He didn't know where the little Neohuru clan got these pills. Indeed, the effects of the medicine were as little as what little Hulu had said. The effect was not as strong as the abortion medicine, but the damage to the fetus in the womb was lasting. Most importantly, the smell was quite nice. It was incomparably elegant and not too strong. It was not unbearable. Ningshu took a handkerchief and wrapped the bottle layer by layer. After washing his hands, he went to see the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan was embroidering a doo-doo for their child. When they saw Ningshu, they said faintly, How did you deal with the flowers and plants in her courtyard? Gitch said to get rid of all the flowers and plants in the courtyard. Ningshu took out the money and medicine that the little Neohuru clan had given him. He told the Neohuru clan everything that he had said to the Neohuru clan. When the Neohuru clan heard these words, they were so shocked that they pricked their fingers with needles. They looked at the bottle of medicine in Ningshu's hand and said in surprise, She really said that? Ningshu nodded. The Neohuru clan's spine collapsed. They touched their belly in horror and said, I only thought that she wanted to snatch everything from me. Now she wants to kill my child. I will not let her go. Ningshu said, Gitch should take good care of her body and give birth to the child. There will be plenty of time in the future. Gitch this money? Ningshu asked the Neohuru clan. Since it is a reward from her, you should accept it. The Neohuru clan rubbed their forehead. Ningshu bowed and turned to leave the room. Not long after, Tongyu came out and handed Ningshu a few ingots of silver. It was 2 more ingots than what the Neohuru clan had given. Tongyu smiled and said to Ningshu, Meowling, this is a reward from the master. You should accept it. He received 2 sets of money in a row. Chapter 614. Ningshu directly told the Neohuru clan, about what the Neohuru clan asked her to do. She didn't want to keep it a secret and let the Neohuru clan worry about it. How could the Neohuru clan be so sure that she wouldn't tell the Neohuru clan about it? She could solve the problem openly. It had nothing to do with her anymore. Perhaps because of this, the Neohuru clan didn't trust Ning Shu as much anymore. They rarely let her get close to them. If she felt uncomfortable, they would ask the doctors in the mansion. Ning Shu didn't care about that. She just did what she needed to do. She didn't want to win the Neohuru clan's trust. Ning Shu had a vague feeling that the Neohuru clan wanted to do something. They wanted to kill the baby in the Neohuru clan's belly and let the future Hongli come out of her belly. Hongli was the fourth child. Olenara gave birth to the eldest son. This time, Mrs. Li was carrying a boy. Mrs. Gung didn't know that. Now both the Neohuru clan and the Neohuru clan were pregnant at the same time. She didn't know which one of them was the father. Ning Shu didn't have the right to care about these things. Even if she wanted to, she couldn't. Ning Shu just wanted to know when she could leave this world. Gij Song's baby was now well taken care of by Nian. The baby could walk slowly with the help of things. She believed that the baby wouldn't die so easily. Meowing. Ning Shu was sweeping the floor with a broom. Tongyu walked up to Ning Shu. Ning Shu asked, "What should we do with the medicine given by Gij in Qinqin Garden?" "You're still keeping this medicine?" Ning Shu asked. "What's the point of keeping it if not getting rid of it?" "We can't keep it with us. The smell is bad for pregnant women." Ning Shu was a little surprised. It had been a few days. Why did they still keep it with them? Tongyu said, "That's why I'm here to ask you what to do with it." Gij is panicking. She doesn't know what to do. Ning Shu said blandly, "You can do whatever you want with it. Just melt it and bury it. It's not that scary. It's just a mixture of all kinds of herbs. It'll be useless if it's diluted," said Ning. "Can I trust you?" Tongyu looked at Ning Shu. "Why can't she trust me? I'm Guji's slave. What good will it do me if anything happens to Gugu? I used to be Song Ji's man, and now I'm following Gugu. If Gugu doesn't trust me, will it be better for me to follow someone else? Everyone would trust their own people." Tongyu glanced at Ning Shu and said, "Sweep the floor." Ning Shu nodded and continued to sweep the floor. Tongyu glanced at Ning Shu. "I feel that you're a strange person. What do you want?" Tongyu felt that this person didn't care about anything. "I'm afraid of death. I want to live," Ning Shu said with a smile. Tongyu snorted. "As long as you don't do anything to hurt Gij, Gij will protect you." "Of course I'm on Gij's side," Ning Shu said. Tongyu looked calm. It was unknown whether she believed Ning Shu's words or not. As the pregnancy went on for a long time, the Neohuru clan had pregnancy symptoms. Dizziness, nausea, and drowsiness were normal symptoms of pregnancy. Tongyu found Ning Shu and asked Ning Shu if there was any way. There was no way to continue vomiting like this. If she couldn't eat anything, her body wouldn't be able to take it. Ning Shu gave Tongyu a sachet with mint leaves and orange peels and said, "You can smell it when you feel uncomfortable. You can add more vinegar when cooking to whet your appetite." Tongyu took the sachet back and let the doctor take a look. The doctor said that there was no problem. If she really felt uncomfortable, she could use this method to suppress it. The Neohuru clan was relieved. They carried Ning Shu's sachet with them. However, women's morning sickness couldn't be cured by any medicine. It could only be suppressed. The Neohuru clan felt uncomfortable because of vomiting. They were so dizzy that they couldn't even get out of bed. However, no matter how uncomfortable the Neohuru clan felt, they wouldn't ask someone to invite Injin. Occasionally, when Injin came to see her, the Neohuru clan would say how uncomfortable they were. It didn't arouse Injin's disgust. Instead, it aroused Injin's distress. Usually, the Neohuru clan wouldn't bother Injin. When Injin came, they would act coquettishly and complain. It was completely different from the way they acted when the Song family was pregnant. If the Song family had a little problem, they would ask someone to come immediately. It was a mess, but nothing happened. The two were not at the same level. Besides, there were several women in the backyard who were pregnant. If this woman asked another woman to come, Injin would be very busy. Ning Shu still worked as a third-class cleaning maid. She swept the yard and the floor every day. Her hands were rough. When the hell would she be able to leave this place? Holy shit. Nuhulu was almost 5 months pregnant, and she was still in this world. It had been more than 2 years. Why hadn't the system told her to leave this world? The little Neohuru clan occasionally came to the Neohuru clan's yard. Every time they saw Ning Shu, they winked at Ning Shu. Ning Shu pretended not to see it, and did her own thing. The Neohuru clan knew that the person in front of them was the one who wanted to hurt their child, but they didn't show it on their faces. The little Neohuru clan called her sister, while the Neohuru clan called her sister. When the two faced each other, they were like sisters who had a very good relationship. The little Neohuru clan saw the slightly bulging belly of the Neohuru clan. Their eyes flashed with hesitation. Why hadn't they aborted the baby yet? Seeing the Neohuru clan's expression was not bad. And then hearing the Neohuru clan said that they felt the fetal movement of the child, the little Neohuru clan felt that their plan had failed. When the doctor came to take the pulse routinely, the little Neohuru clan asked the doctor, "How is my sister's health? I heard that she was not feeling well before. Is she better now?" The doctor said, "Gidge is fine. The baby is also very healthy." "Is she really okay? I'm worried about her." The Neohuru clan asked the doctor again, "Is she really okay?" "She's okay. She's very healthy," the doctor said. The Neohuru clan was disappointed and angry. The wicked girl took the money, but didn't do anything. She didn't follow her instructions. Or was it because this girl couldn't get close to the Neohuru clan? The little Neohuru clan rubbed their forehead and waved to the doctor to ask him to leave. Then they stopped the doctor and said, "Wait a minute. Now you should be able to tell whether it's a boy or a girl, right?" The doctor cupped his hands and said, "Gidge's belly is a boy." The little Neohuru clan smiled and asked the personal maid to give the doctor some tips. The doctor took the tip and left. The little Neohuru clan looked at the doctor's back, and their eyes flickered. Since the maid couldn't do it, they would use the doctor. The little Neohuru clan touched her belly and said, "Child, everything I do is for you. In this backyard, only the winner can stand at the top." She was a modern person, but now she had become a concubine with a thick skin. If Injin wasn't the future emperor of the Qing dynasty, she wouldn't have served the same husband with others. Moreover, this man was her brother-in-law in name. Chapter 615. After the little Neohuru clan transmigrated, she learned that her surname was Neohuru clan. She thought that she would be a member of the Neohuru clan in history, but she found out that she was only the daughter of Ling Zhu. There was also a sister of the Neohuru clan, who was the first to enter Injin's backyard. The little Neohuru clan was sure that her sister might be the Empress Dowager of the Neohuru clan, especially now that she was pregnant, and the future emperor of Qianlong was in her belly. Every time she saw the Neohuru clan's belly, the little Neohuru clan felt heartbroken. If this child was gone, Hongli might come out of her belly. After transmigrating, how could she be worthy of this blessing if she didn't have great achievements? "Miao Ling, Gidge is looking for you. Go over quickly." Tongyu walked into the room and said to Ning Shu, who was making sachets. Ning Shu saw that Miao Ling's expression was quite anxious. He patted the mint leaves on his hand, stood up and asked, "What happened?" "Just come with me," Tongyu said to Ning Shu. Ning Shu followed Tongyu to the Neohuru clan's room. The Neohuru clan was sitting in a chair. "What does Gidge want from me?" Ning Shu bowed and asked the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan didn't say anything. Tongyu said, "Just now, the mansion's doctor came to take Gidge's pulse. The doctor said that Gidge's fetus is a little unstable, and he also prescribed medicine." Ning Shu understood and asked, "How does Gidge feel?" The Neohuru clan frowned and said, "I feel very good. This child also likes to move. There is nothing unusual. I asked you to come over to take my pulse." The Neohuru clan stretched out their wrist and put it on the table. Ning Shu stretched out his hand and took the Neohuru clan's pulse. After a while he was finally sure. The Neohuru clan and Tongyu both looked at Ning Shu. "How is it? Is there anything wrong with the child?" The Neohuru clan's Ning Shu asked. Ning Shu said, "I am sure that Gidge's body is fine. The fetus is also very healthy. Can you let me see the medicine you grabbed?" Tongyu immediately took out 2 bags of medicine. Ningxu opened the paper bag and checked the medicine. Finally, he said, "There is a saffron in the medicine that can promote blood circulation and remove blood stasis. It has the effect of abortion." The Neohuru clan's leader pursed his lips tightly. His aura seemed very cold. He waved his hand at Ningxu. Ningxu bowed and turned to leave the room. "Take this reward." Tongyu gave Ningxu some broken silver. "Thank you for this time. Sister Tongyu, you are too polite. This is what I should do." Ningxu bowed. Tongyu stuffed the silver into Ningxu's hand. "Take it. This is from Gij." Ningxu accepted the broken silver and received money again. Every time she helped the Neohuru clan do something, the Neohuru clan would give her a little reward. Until now, she had a lot of money in her hands. For a servant, this should be a huge sum of money. The Neohuru clan knew that it was the younger Neohuru clan who did this to her. Over and over again, the younger Neohuru clan came to talk to her. The Neohuru clan said that they were not feeling well and did not want to see the younger Neohuru clan. Now the Neohuru clan was enduring. Nothing was more important than the child. This account would be settled slowly. When the Neohuru clan and the younger Neohuru clan were 7 months pregnant, Madame Li and Madame Gung both gave birth. Moreover, they were both boys. In other words, after Ulanara clan, 2 more boys were born. The Neohuru clan and the younger Neohuru clan's child, who was born first, would be the 4th child and could be called Hongli. The Neohuru clan was not clear about the history, but the younger Neohuru clan was clear about it. While Ningxu was still checking the Neohuru clan's pulse, a servant girl came in and said to the Neohuru clan, "Gij, Qinshin Garden's Gij is having an attack." The Neohuru clan was stunned. "It's only 7 months now. Why is she giving birth?" "I heard that she fell down," the servant girl said. The Neohuru clan's expression was not good. They held their belly with a lingering fear. "I don't know what will happen to the child in her belly." Ningxu comforted the Neohuru clan. "Gij, don't worry. Didn't you say that it's 70% or 80% dead? Go to her courtyard for me. If there's anything, come back and tell me." The Neohuru clan did not plan to go to her courtyard. Instead, they asked Ningxu to go to the younger Neohuru clan's courtyard. Ningxu bowed and went to the younger Neohuru clan's courtyard. Injun and Ulanara clan were already waiting. Ningxu walked into the courtyard and heard the younger Neohuru clan's screams. Ningxu waited outside. The Neohuru clan's birth went smoothly. Not long after, they gave birth to a boy. Because it was premature, he was a little weak. After the child was born, Ningxu went back to report to the Neohuru clan. When the Neohuru clan heard the news, they only pursed their lips and did not say anything. Ningxu felt that the younger Neohuru clan deliberately let their child be born early, so that their child would be the 4th child. Injun did not immediately name the child. Neither the Li clan nor the Gung clan's child was named. They would only name the child after the child was a month old. When the younger Neohuru clan was in confinement, they pestered Injun to give their child a name. However, Injun did not agree. Instead, he said that he would wait until the child was a month old before he would name it on the family tree. The younger Neohuru clan asked Injun twice, but Injun did not agree. Thus, they did not dare to mention this matter to Injun again and again. The younger Neohuru clan was also depressed. Why was it that people who transmigrated were all glorious and could even obtain the love of the emperor? She had already tried her best to make Injun fall in love with her, but Injun was cold-hearted. She had been Injun's woman for a long time, but Injun did not fall in love with her. Instead, she fell in love with Injun. Between the bed, it was easier for women to give their feelings. People would always be slowly assimilated by the environment. The younger Neohuru clan gradually became an ancient woman who regarded her husband as the sky and a mother as noble because of her son. Otherwise, she would not have taken such a huge risk to let her child be born early. However, Injun's attitude made the younger Neohuru clan sad. He refused to even give the child a name. The younger Neohuru clan wanted their son to be called Hongli, Isenjoro Hongli. However, something happened next that made the younger Neohuru clan panic. Lady Gung's child died before he was a month old. The child who died prematurely did not even have a name, and it would not be recorded in the family tree. In other words, the premature child of the younger Neohuru clan was now ranked third and no longer fourth. When Ningshu learned of this, he smacked his lips. He felt that fate was unpredictable. The younger Neohuru clan's meticulous calculations resulted in such an outcome. Could it be that the younger Neohuru clan only knew that Hongli was the fourth child? They did not know that the Gung family only had one son in the family tree. It was the sixth child, Hongzhou, who liked to hold funerals and receive gifts. What was this called? Man proposes, God disposes. Some things did not change according to human will. Chapter 616. The Neohuru clan's belly was getting bigger and bigger day by day, while the Neohuru clan's heart was getting colder and colder by the day. Their confinement period was not peaceful, and they were extremely anxious. The Neohuru clan repeatedly asked Injin to name their son. The Neohuru clan could not figure out why it was so difficult for Injin to name their son Hongli. The closer it was to the date of childbirth, the more nervous the Neohuru clan became. They brought Ningshu with them. Ningshu comforted the Neohuru clan. Gij, don't worry. Your fetal position is correct, and it's already in the basin. You can give birth in a few days. Gij, are the midwives ready? Ningshu asked the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan nodded. I asked my maternal family to find a midwife. My mother has investigated the background of these midwives. There shouldn't be a problem. The Neohuru clan grabbed Ningshu's hand with some force. Her nails sank into Ningshu's flesh. She looked at Ningshu and asked, Niaoling, can I trust you? Gij, please trust this servant. If something happens to you, it won't do this servant any good, Ningshu said indifferently. The Neohuru clan did not let go of Ningshu's hand. When I give birth, I hope you'll be by my side. I'll put my life and the child's life in your hands. Gij, this servant will do his best, Ningshu said with a solemn expression. This servant will do his best. Ningshu touched the Neohuru clan's belly. It was falling badly. Ningshu would probably stay by the Neohuru clan's side for the next few days. The members of the Neohuru clan also felt that they were about to give birth. There were slight contractions in their stomachs, and their waists were sore. One morning, when the Neohuru clan was having breakfast, the amniotic fluid broke and formed a puddle on the ground. Ningshu saw this and hurriedly went over to help the Neohuru clan to the bed. Sister Tongyu, Gij is about to give birth. Go get the midwife and boil some hot water, Ningshu said to Tongyu, who looked anxious and nervous. Okay. Tongyu quickly went to do it. The members of the Neohuru clan were lying on the bed. They were in so much pain that they were sweating profusely. Gij, bear with it. Don't scream. Save your strength for the baby. Miaoling, I believe in you. You will definitely let my child be born safely. The members of the Neohuru clan endured the pain and said. The blue veins on their foreheads were popping out. Ningshu nodded. Gij, believe in me. It's okay. Ningshu said again and cut a piece of ginseng and put it in the Neohuru clan's mouth. The members of the Neohuru clan felt as if a knife was scraping their stomachs. They were in so much pain that they lost all their strength. Tongyu brought 4 midwives over and was busy helping the Neohuru clan with the fetal position. Ningshu smelled a strong smell of medicine on one of the midwives. She deliberately approached the Neohuru clan. Ningshu grabbed the midwife's arm to control her. He said to Tongyu, tie her up and lock her in another room. Tongyu was stunned for a moment. She couldn't find the rope for a moment. The members of the Neohuru clan, who were groaning in pain, whispered, cut the mosquito net. Tongyu immediately picked up the scissors and cut the mosquito net. She tied the midwife's hands with a piece of cloth and dragged her to the next room. Gij, don't worry. It's okay, Ningshu said to the Neohuru clan. The members of the Neohuru clan nodded. They were sweating profusely. The cervix is open. Gij, use your strength, the midwife said to the Neohuru clan. The members of the Neohuru clan took a deep breath and gritted their teeth. Take a deep breath and then use your strength, Ningshu said to the Neohuru clan. Inhale, exhale. The members of the Neohuru clan were in a trance because of the pain. They could only listen to Ning Shu's voice in their ears. After almost 2 hours, the Neohuru clan still hadn't given birth. Ning Shu was a little surprised. The Neohuru clan's fetal position was normal. It shouldn't take so long to give birth. Go away. Ning Shu saw a midwife putting the child's head back. As soon as the child's head popped out, she put it back. The Neohuru clan was in great pain. Tie it up. Ning Shu said to Tongyu. Gidge, I can see the child's head. Just use your strength, and it will come out. The Neohuru clan cried out, and the child's head popped out. Ning Shu carefully pulled the child's body. In the end, the child was separated from the Neohuru clan's body. Ning Shu patted the child's butt. The child cried loudly. The members of the Neohuru clan fainted when they heard the child's cries. Ning Shu wiped the blood off the child's body and wrapped it in a swaddling cloth. He handed the child to Tongyu. Go out and report the good news. Tongyu carefully took the child. She cried and laughed. She carried the child out and reported the situation to Injin and Olinara, who were guarding outside. Ning Shu stayed inside and tidied up the aftermath. Ning Shu had been guarding by the Neohuru clan's side. When the Neohuru clan woke up, they saw Ning Shu and smiled knowingly. Then they asked, Where's my child? Gugu is still in this servant's arms. Tongyu had been carrying the child since it was born. Because of the midwife, Tongyu was worried about the nanny. Other than letting the nanny feed her milk, she had been carrying the child herself. Tongyu carried the child to the Neohuru clan and let the Neohuru clan see it. The Neohuru clan looked at their child with a smile on their faces. Thank you for your hard work, Ning Shu of the Neohuru clan said. If it weren't for you today, something might have happened to me and the child. Ning Shu nodded and excused himself from the Neohuru clan. He wanted to go back and take a bath. Ning Shu went back and took a bath. Then, he lay on the bed and rested for a while. Since the Neohuru clan was about to give birth, Ning Shu didn't have much rest. As for the midwife of the Neohuru clan, who wanted to harm the child, and the Neohuru clan, this was something that the Neohuru clan should be worried about. They caught the first midwife, and didn't expect there to be a second one. There might be more than one group of people who wanted to kill the child of the Neohuru clan. After such a thing happened, the Neohuru clan dispelled the idea of hiring a nanny. If the nanny's intentions were not pure, wouldn't it be sending their child to the wolves? A newborn child was very fragile. The slightest injury could cause him to lose his life. If they met another nanny like Gidge, who was vicious and abused the child, it was scary just thinking about it. The Neohuru clan also asked for Ning Shu's opinion. Ning Shu felt that it was good for the child to drink his mother's milk. However, the Neohuru clan was now in confinement, so it wasn't suitable for them to work too hard. Ning Shu still asked the Neohuru clan to hire a reliable nanny to bathe the child and change the diapers. The Neohuru clan couldn't do these things when they were in confinement. The Neohuru clan frowned. Where can we find a trustworthy nanny now? These 4 midwives were hired by my mother, and this kind of thing happened. The Neohuru clan felt that many people were targeting their child. Other people didn't have such a thing when they gave birth. Those nannies might have been bribed. They are still locked up. Let's wait until Gidge is out of confinement. Gidge can rest well. Ning Shu comforted the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan looked at Ning Shu. I want to leave the child in your care. Ning Shu. Chapter 617. The Neohuru clan felt that many people were eyeing her child. Now she couldn't trust others at all, so she wanted Ning Shu to take care of her child. When she was giving birth, this maid saved her and her child, so the Neohuru clan trusted Ning Shu a little. Moreover, she also had medical skills, so if there was anything wrong with the child, she would be the first to find out. The Neohuru clan looked at Ning Shu and said, Miao Ling, I hope you can help me take care of the child. I can't trust others in my current physical condition. Ning Shu was held by the Neohuru clan. She wanted to shake off her hand, but she said respectfully, I don't have the experience of taking care of children. I'm afraid I will let Gidge down. I don't need you to take care of the child. I hope you can stay by the child's side and, the Neohuru clan said in a low voice, and monitor the wet nurse for me. I don't trust the wet nurse. One after another, the Neohuru clan was like a bird startled by the twang of a bow. They trusted this maid a lot, who had helped them several times. Ning Shu. No, I won't. When I'm out of confinement, I will take care of the child myself. The Neohuru clan said and winked at Tongyu. Tongyu took out a small box from the dressing table. This is Gij's reward for you, Tongyu said as she opened the small box. Inside the small box were some jewelry. There were necklaces, hairpins, and even bracelets. Just this box of jewelry was not cheap. It was enough for an ordinary family to live on for a lifetime. Ning Shu hurriedly bowed and said, Gij, this is too expensive. I can't accept it. Sometimes it was not a good thing to have too much money, especially now that she was just a maid. If she really accepted this box of jewelry, then she would take care of the child. He was afraid that when the Nuhila clan escaped from their current predicament, they would come looking for him to settle the score. Thinking about it from another perspective, if he was the master, it would be strange if he didn't have a knot in his heart when he ordered his servants to do things for him. At that time, she could be pressed down with any reason. She was just a servant with no control over her own life. It was impossible for her to make a fair deal with the Neohuru clan. Moreover, the task of leaving this body was completed, and the original owner would come back. If the Neohuru clan came to find trouble with the original owner, it would be on her head if anything happened to the original owner. After using the body of the original owner, Ning Shu's body, she would leave a lot of trouble. After thinking it through, Ning Shu waved her hand and said, I will definitely take good care of the little master. It's just that I can't accept these things. I'm just a servant. If there are so many things that exceed my status, it will attract trouble. Moreover, Gij has already rewarded me with a lot of things. I'm already uneasy. I can't accept these things. Ning Shu bowed again and said, I will definitely do my best to take care of the little master. The Neohuru clan curled their lips. Since that's the case, thank you. This servant doesn't dare. When Ning Shu saw Nyahila's relaxed expression, she instantly understood that she had been tricked. Taking out such a box of jewelry, regardless of whether she accepted it or not, she would have to take care of the little master. Moreover, the other party didn't even think of rewarding her with such a box of jewelry. If they really wanted to reward her, they could casually take out an item from the box, and it would be incomparably precious to a servant. They were all shrewd people. This could also be a test. Ning Shu, when would the mission end? The Neohuru clan had just given birth, and they were extremely tired. Coincidentally, at this time, Yin Jun came over to see the Neohuru clan and the child. Ning Shu left the room, feeling speechless. Her mission was to take care of Gij Song's child. Madame Gij Song's child was now being raised by Madame Yin very well. Now she had to take care of the child for the Neohuru clan. What was this mission for? It was clearly not her child, but she had to worry about it like a biological mother. No, she was even more worried than a biological mother. Tongyu changed the room for Ning Shu. The room was changed to the room next to the Neohuru clan's room. The room was quite big. Ning Shu and the wet nurse took care of the child in this room. What Ning Shu had to do was to protect the child, and not let dangerous things get close to the child. At the same time, she also had to monitor the wet nurse. She ate the wet nurse's food first. She even carefully checked the child's clothes to see if there was anything wrong. At night, she did not sleep. She sat cross-legged on the bed to cultivate. The cradle was by the bed. Ning Shu would check on the child from time to time. Occasionally, when the child was hungry in the middle of the night, Ning Shu would bring the child to the wet nurse to feed the child. After all, the child was a ripe melon. The child was very healthy and could eat a lot. He was fair and tender, completely different from Gij Song. The Neohuru clan was a good mother. Ning Shu's diet was different from the wet nurse's. The wet nurse's diet was specially prepared. The food the wet nurse ate was good for milk production. Ning Shu would taste the wet nurse's food, but today's food was a little salty. Even Ning Shu felt salty when he ate it. The pot of pork shoulder soup was a little hard to swallow. Ning Shu looked at the midwife and asked, "Why is today's food so salty?" The wet nurse's milk was salty when she ate salty food. It was a burden to the child's stomach. It was not that the child could not eat salt, but it could not eat so salty food. The wet nurse Ning Shu said, "Ever since I came to the manor, my mouth has always been bland. I only asked the kitchen maid to put a little salt. You also know that I'm from the countryside. I eat salted vegetables when I eat. The vegetables I eat are salty, so my mouth is very bland." Ning Shu frowned. "You have to feed the child now. It's not good for the child to eat too salty food. Moreover, it's not good for milk production. As a wet nurse, don't you know these things? Miss Miao Ling, it's just this one time. It's okay. These things don't have any taste of salt. I can't eat anything. If I can't eat, how can I give the little master milk?" The wet nurse's expression was a little dissatisfied. Ning Shu looked at the wet nurse. She was very plump and her face was rosy. In the beginning, she took care of the child with all her heart. What kind of trouble did she cause now? Being stared at by Ning Shu, the wet nurse looked away uncomfortably. She then said, "Okay, I won't eat it next time." The kitchen remade the wet nurse's meal. After the wet nurse ate it and breastfed the child, Ning Shu carried the child to the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan cared a lot about the child. They would check on the child several times a day and keep the child by their side. "Has there been anything unusual recently?" The Neohuru clan took the child. Their faces were filled with tenderness and were very soft. Ning Shu paused for a moment and said, "Nothing. There's nothing wrong for the time being." The Neohuru clan's gaze did not move away from the child's face. "During this time, you have to pay more attention. This servant understands." Ning Shu wanted to talk about the wet nurse. However, based on the wet nurse's desire to eat dishes with a strong taste, it wasn't a big deal. However, in the future, in addition to taking care of the child, he also had to observe this wet nurse. Chapter 6:18. Ning Shu felt that there was something wrong with this wet nurse, so he observed her without leaving a trace. However, ever since Ning Shu had told her not to eat anything with too strong a taste, the wet nurse obediently ate the food made in the kitchen. It gave people the impression that she was greedy. Ning Shu didn't see anything wrong with her. The wet nurse also obediently followed Ning Shu to take care of the child. Ning Shu wondered if he was being too suspicious. This wet nurse was carefully selected by the Neohuru clan. The wet nurse was related to the child's life and death, so she shouldn't be so careless. However, with the previous midwife incident, Ning Shu didn't dare to give up his suspicion of the wet nurse at all. However, the wet nurse was normal everywhere. She was with Ning Shu almost all the time. Other than feeding, Ning Shu consciously separated the wet nurse and the child, trying to minimize the child's contact with the wet nurse as much as possible. Yeah. Ning Shu was cultivating when he was interrupted by the child in the cradle. When he opened his eyes, he saw the child kicking his legs with a look of discomfort. Ning Shu hurriedly got out of bed and picked up the child. The child arched against Ning Shu's chest, obviously wanting to drink milk. Moreover, the child's lips were a little pale. Ning Shu put his finger into the child's mouth and found that his mouth was very dry. He was obviously thirsty. Ning Shu didn't wake up the wet nurse. Instead, he poured water for the child to drink slowly. The child was obviously too thirsty. After drinking a whole cup of water, he burped and water flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Ning Shu wiped the water from the corner of the child's mouth with his sleeve. Ning Shu picked up the child and gently patted his back. He was still lying in Ning Shu's arms and fell asleep. However, Ning Shu soon found that something was wrong with the child. The next day, the child had a hard time when he pooped. His face was red as if he was constipated. Moreover, the things that came out were very smelly. Now that the child was less than a month old and was only drinking milk, such a situation would not happen. Ning Shu frowned. After cleaning up, he fed the child some water. The child drank a whole cup of water. Why was he so thirsty? The wet nurse's diet was very light. "Miss Miao Ling, do you want to feed the little master now?" The wet nurse had just finished washing her body, so she asked while unbuttoning her lapel. Ning Shu narrowed his eyes and handed the child to the wet nurse. Ning Shu thought about it and felt that something wasn't right. After some thought, he felt that the source of the problem should be the wet nurse. Other than the thing that entered her mouth, Ning-Shu couldn't think of anything wrong. The child is not hungry. You don't have to feed him yet. Ning-Shu carried the child back. The wet nurse was stunned. She had already unbuttoned her clothes, revealing her full and heavy chest. Ning-Shu suddenly had an idea. He grabbed the wet nurse's full breasts and squeezed out some milk. He tasted it in his mouth. It was very salty. Ning-Shu carried the child and turned to leave. The wet nurse didn't even have time to button her lapel. She quickly stopped Ning-Shu. Miss Miaoling, I beg you. Don't tell Gidge. The wet nurse's face was pale. She looked as if a great disaster was about to befall her. Miss Miaoling, I won't dare to do it again. I beg you. Ning-Shu didn't say anything and walked away. The wet nurse hugged Ning-Shu's leg. Miss Miaoling, I beg you. Ning-Shu shook off the wet nurse's leg. The wet nurse was kicked away by Ning-Shu and crawled on the ground. Ning-Shu carried the child and went to find the Neohuru clan. He bowed to the Neohuru clan and said, This servant has wronged Gidge. This servant is guilty. The Neohuru clan looked at Ning-Shu with some astonishment and asked, What's wrong? Or did something happen to the child? Ning-Shu didn't say anything. The wet nurse rushed in. Her clothes were messy, and she looked at Ning-Shu with pleading eyes. The Neohuru clan frowned. Give me the child. Ning-Shu handed the child to the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan took the child and looked at Ning-Shu and the wet nurse. What's the matter? Your Highness. This wet nurse applied salt water on the child's nipple. The child's stomach hasn't been well for the past 2 days. Gidge should investigate this wet nurse. Ning-Shu said directly. This matter is also this servant's negligence. Gidge, please forgive me. The Neohuru clan looked at their child in horror, and then looked at the pale wet nurse. Their voice was filled with anger. What's the matter? Why did you do this? The Neohuru clan was now glad that the wet nurse applied salt water and not poison. If she had applied poison, the Neohuru clan didn't know if they would be able to see their child again. Say it. Did the Neohuru clan give you too little money to treat my child like this? The veins on the Neohuru clan's forehead were about to explode. Their emotions were somewhat hysterical. The wet nurse knelt on the ground and kowtowed. She shouted, Gidge, this servant never thought of harming the child. Then why did you do this? The Neohuru clan looked at the wet nurse with murderous eyes. This kind of thing happened again and again. The Neohuru clan felt that they were forced into a corner. Why did so many people want to harm her child? When she gave birth, there were 2 midwives who wanted to harm her. She sent the 2 midwives back to the Neohuru clan and asked her mother to investigate carefully. One of the midwives was a concubine of the Neohuru clan. This concubine was the little Neohuru clan's mother. The other midwife was bribed when she entered the Bailey residence. The news from the Neohuru clan was that the midwives received 2 ingots of silver. They didn't know who was behind this. Gidge, calm down. Ning-Shu said calmly. The Neohuru clan took a deep breath and looked coldly at the wet nurse. Who do you work for? The wet nurse cried and said, Gidge, this servant really didn't want to harm the little master. Then what you did was harming my child. You dare to say that you didn't harm my child? The Neohuru clan's eyes were a bit scary, like an injured mother beast. The wet nurse suddenly looked fiercely at Ning-Shu. She pointed at Ning-Shu and said, It's all because of Miaoling. It's all because of her. In the face of the wet nurse's pointing, Ning-Shu's face was indifferent. He stood to the side with his head down and didn't say anything. The Neohuru clan looked coldly at the wet nurse and glanced at the silent Ning-Shu. She lowered her head and kissed her child. She said indifferently, Oh, what did she do? The wet nurse said angrily, Gidge, this servant is the little master's wet nurse. I am responsible for taking care of the little master. But Miaoling won't let this servant get close to the little master. This servant thought that if something happened to the child, then Gidge wouldn't be given to Miaoling to raise the child. Ning-Shu, ha ha ha, now it was her fault. Nuhilusher laughed out loud. This is my child. I can take care of him for whoever I want. You still want to harm my child because of this reason? You still think you're in the right? Do you still feel wronged? This servant wants to take care of the little master with all her heart. But Miaoling won't let this servant get close to the child. The wet nurse's expression was a bit angry. Ningshu frowned. He looked at the wet nurse who claimed to be a servant, but had a big heart. Chapter 619. Did someone say something to you? Ningshu's wet nurse asked. The wet nurse seemed to hate Ningshu very much. No one said anything to me. I just don't like you occupying the little master. I just want the little master to be close to you alone. Ningshu was a little speechless. She wanted to harm the child, just because of such a reason. No, the matter in the backyard was not that simple. There was a purpose behind any action. Gij. Ningshu whispered into the Neohuru clan's ear. Gij, I think this wet nurse must have been instigated by someone. There were many benefits to being a wet nurse in a wealthy family, not to mention the grandson of the emperor. How many benefits could she get? If the child relied on her, there would be even more benefits. Ningshu did not allow the wet nurse to get close to the child, which was why the wet nurse resented her. If there was someone behind this who instigated things, it would be logical for such a thing to happen. The Neohuru clan glanced at the wet nurse kneeling on the ground and suppressed the anger in their hearts. They said to Tongyu, "Go and call Master over. I have to let Master know about this matter." The wet nurse's face instantly turned pale. She knelt on the ground and kowtowed. Her head was banging on the ground as she thought. Gij, let me go this time. Have mercy, Gij. Keep your voice down. You're disturbing the child, the Neohuru clan said lightly. The wet nurse was frightened by the Neohuru clan's expression. She immediately shut her mouth and did not dare to speak. Her face was filled with fear. Tongyu went to call Injun. The matter was probably too serious. Injun came very quickly. He walked into the room and asked, "What happened?" The Neohuru clan told him everything with tears in their eyes. After Injun heard this, his expression was cold. He rubbed his forehead. "What's wrong? Why do I always meet such a vicious wet nurse? I can't let her off so easily. There are still a few children in this manner. Every wet nurse is like this. Can my child still grow up alive?" Injun's expression was cold. The wet nurse was so scared that her face was as white as paper. Her whole body was trembling, and she said incoherently, "Master Baylor, please spare my life. I was wronged." Injun asked the wet nurse to drag her out. The wet nurse shouted, "Master Bell, someone asked me to do this." Injun's expression was cold. "Oh, who instigated you to do such a thing?" "It's Gij from Qinshin Garden. Gij said that if I can get close to Little Master, I will have a high position and great wealth in the future." The wet nurse said hurriedly, for fear that she would be beaten to death if she was late. Injun said coldly, "Not only did he abuse my child, but he also spread rumors and slandered the master of the backyard. What's the point of keeping such a disloyal and unjust person? Master Baylor, please spare my life." The wet nurse's mournful voice was getting further and further away. She didn't know how Injun would deal with this wet nurse. Would he beat her with a board and expel her from Baylor Manor? Injun turned his head and looked at the Neohuru clan who was holding the child and crying. He sighed and said, "Don't cry. You're in confinement. It's not good for your eyes." The Neohuru clan wiped their tears and said to Injun, "Master, can you find a wet nurse for the child? I don't know what to do now." Injun nodded. "Leave this matter to me. I will handle it for you." The Neohuru clan revealed a forced smile. Injun asked the servants in the room to take good care of the Neohuru clan before leaving. The Neohuru clan looked at Injun's back with a disappointed expression. Someone clearly wanted to harm her child. But Injun was indifferent and didn't think of dealing with it. "Gij, are you okay?" Ningshu asked when he saw that the Neohuru clan's expression was a little absent-minded. The Neohuru clan's tears immediately fell. They hugged the child and cried silently. Gij should be happy. She found the person who was hiding evil intentions around her and didn't let the child suffer any more harm. Ningshu comforted the Neohuru clan. "This matter is also my mistake. It caused such a result." Ningshu bowed. The Neohuru clan wiped their tears. "This matter has nothing to do with you. This wet nurse's intentions are not pure. I thank you for this matter. I don't dare to accept it." Ningshu said, "There's nothing more important than Gij's health. Gij should take care of her body now." We'll talk about it after she's out of confinement. The Neohuru clan nodded and kept the child by their side to take care of her. They only let a few people they trusted get close. Injin quickly found the wet nurse. The Neohuru clan didn't let the wet nurse get close to the child. When she was feeding the child, they asked Ning Shu to check it over and over again. The Neohuru clan didn't trust anyone else. The matter of taking care of the child fell to Ning Shu, which tired Ning Shu out. These days continued until the Neohuru clan's confinement. Probably to make up for the Neohuru clan and the child, Injin held a few tables of full moon banquets for the child, and even named the child Aizenjoro Hongli. The little Neohuru clan sat at the banquet with the child in their arms. When they heard the name Hongli, they were all scared out of their wits. They hugged their child tightly. The child in their arms felt very tight and cried loudly. The child's cry caused the people around to cry. Injin looked at the little Neohuru clan indifferently. The little Neohuru clan hurriedly coaxed the child in their arms. Her heart was in pain. Why? Her child was already 3 months old. But Injin didn't give her child a name. The Neohuru clan's child was now called Hongli. There was also a full moon banquet. In comparison, her child looked so shabby. The Neohuru clan looked at the little Neohuru clan with an ambiguous smile on their lips. Sister, why are you carrying the child yourself? Why don't you let the wet nurse carry him? The child is crying like this. Is he hungry? Let the wet nurse feed him some milk. Didn't the child's wet nurse follow him? The Neohuru clan asked indifferently. The little Neohuru clan said, the child doesn't like the wet nurse, so he didn't bring her along. Is that so? The Neohuru clan's eyes were filled with coldness. The little Neohuru clan nodded. She wouldn't let her child get close to the wet nurse. Her child wouldn't get close to his mother, but to get close to a servant. Ning Shu stood beside the Neohuru clan with the child in his arms. When he heard the conversation between the two sisters, he understood that the Neohuru clan hated the little Neohuru clan. The little Neohuru clan had repeatedly tried to harm the child of the Neohuru clan. Even if it was for their own child, the Neohuru clan would go against the little Neohuru clan. Ning Shu felt that it was quite magical. As an authentic ancient woman, the Neohuru clan didn't take the initiative to harm others. Instead, it was the little Neohuru clan who had transmigrated from the modern world. The Neohuru clan, who lived in a peaceful era, wanted to kill a child who didn't know anything. The child wasn't to blame. Just because this child was from the Hongli dynasty, the future emperor, they wanted to kill this child. A terrible person's heart had nothing to do with where they came from. The little Neohuru clan was no different from the ancient harem women. There was no difference. In fact, they were even more unprincipled than the ancient harem women. There was a difference between actively harming others and passively fighting back. Chapter 620. After the Hongli full moon banquet, the name Aizenjoro Hongli was recorded on the family tree. The mother of the Neohuru clan. Once it was on the family tree, it was a done deal. There was no way to change it. The little Neohuru clan lost their temper because of this and broke a lot of things. She felt resentful and wronged. Ever since she transmigrated, she had lived carefully and been a concubine. All she had planned was to have a different life in ancient times from modern times. The little Neohuru clan was a little confused. She didn't know what was the point of living like this. She stayed in the backyard and waited for a man to pity her every day. It was even inconvenient for her to go out. Not a single thing that she had planned had succeeded. She had wanted to plan a glorious future for her child, but all her efforts had been in vain. Why was this? The little Neohuru clan rubbed her forehead tiredly. She felt so tired. She didn't dare to do anything. She had to continue walking unswervingly. However, not long after, the little Neohuru clan was actually grounded for 3 months. The child that they had painstakingly given birth to was almost taken away by Injin to be raised by someone else. The little Neohuru clan cried and shouted. They kept apologizing and reluctantly got Ning Injin's forgiveness. In fact, the little Neohuru clan didn't know what they had done wrong. They could only apologize to save themselves. Injin was lenient and was only grounded for 2 months. When Ning Shu found out that the little Neohuru clan was grounded, he immediately looked at the Neohuru clan. He didn't know if this matter had anything to do with the Neohuru clan. However, these things had nothing to do with her. She just needed to be a good nanny. The Neohuru clan's mood seemed to be better. No one from the little Neohuru clan came to look for her under the banner of sisters. The Neohuru clan didn't care about anything now. They just took good care of their son and didn't think about fighting for favor. If Injin wanted to come, so be it. However, the Neohuru clan wouldn't drag it on. Ning Shu had given Hong Li 2 transfusions of Qi Jin, so that Hong Li's health would improve, and he would not get sick easily. It would also be easier for him to take care of him. Miao Ling, Ning Shu of the Neohuru clan shouted. Ning Shu was checking Hong Li's clothes. He walked over to the Neohuru clan and asked, "Gij, what's the matter?" The leader of the Neohuru clan reached out and held Ning Shu's hand. He sighed and said, "Thank you for being by my side all this time. If it wasn't for you, I would have been flustered." Ning Shu bowed. "This is what this servant should do. No matter what, I have to thank you," said the member of the Neohuru clan with a smile. "From today onwards, you are my personal maid." "Thank you, Gij." Ning Shu bowed. Now that she had become the Neohuru clan's personal maid, she could be considered someone trusted by the Neohuru clan. Ning Shu began to tidy up the clothes again. It was now the season, and these clothes were all made by the embroiderers. Ning Shu had to check if there was anything wrong with these clothes, especially if they were clothes-fitting clothes. Ning Shu was speechless. When would he be able to leave this world? When would the trial end? Ning Shu picked up a piece of clothing and turned it over to examine it. In the end, he found white marks on the collar of the clothing. There were also some water stains. Ning Shu put the clothing to the tip of his nose and sniffed it. He frowned and said to the member of the Neohuru clan, "Gij, come here for a moment." The Neohuru clan was rocking the cradle. When they heard Ning Shu's words, they walked over. Ning Shu took the clothing and placed it in front of the Neohuru clan. The Neohuru clan wanted to take it, but Ning Shu said, "Don't touch it. It might be smallpox serum on it." The Neohuru clan immediately retracted their hands and hurriedly took 2 steps back. They stuttered and looked shocked. How could there be such a thing on the clothing? "Gij, this servant will take care of the clothing." Ning Shu took the clothing and left the room. Ning Shu put the clothing into a pot of boiling vinegar. She washed her hands with the vinegar and boiled some medicine to drink. She touched the clothing. She might not be able to take care of the child for a while. She picked the clothing out of the vinegar pot and then threw it away. If she didn't take care of the clothing, others might get smallpox when they touched it. There were so many children in the Fu, so it was very likely that the children would get smallpox. She didn't know who did this. The intention was too obvious. This method was much better than the wet nurse rubbing salt water on the milk. If they wanted to make a move, they would directly use a big move. Such a young child, the probability of surviving smallpox was negligible. Who was the one who did it? Tongyu came over to see Ning Shu and asked, "Miaoling, Gij asked you if the clothing was properly taken care of?" "It has been properly taken care of." Ning Shu nodded. "I won't be taking care of the child for a while. I touched the clothing. Let's talk about it again later. Sprinkle some vinegar in every part of the courtyard to disinfect. Wash your hands every time before you carry the child." Ning Shu instructed Tongyu. Tongyu nodded to show that she understood. Ning Shu originally thought that he would be fine after drinking the medicine, but he didn't expect that he would start to have a fever a few days later. His whole body was very weak. Ning Shu felt that he was being cheated. This body had never gotten smallpox before, so there were no antibodies in the body. When it came into contact with the virus, it couldn't resist it. He originally thought that he would be fine after practicing the peerless martial arts, but he didn't expect that he would still be affected. Ning Shu brewed the medicine himself and continuously practiced the peerless martial arts. However, his face and body were covered with chicken pox, which was very itchy. His heart was stifled. Ning Shu told the Neohuru clan that he wanted to leave Baylor Fu. The Neohuru clan stood far away. When they saw Ning Shu's face full of chicken pox, they thought of their own children and agreed to let Ning Shu leave. The Neohuru clan let Ningshu go to the manor where they had downed him. They even sent a servant girl to take care of Ningshu. Ningshu rejected the servant girl. He didn't want to implicate others in his situation. The Neohuru clan also gave Ningshu a sum of money and asked Ningshu to recuperate well. They said that they wanted to wait for Ningshu to come back and take care of their children. The Neohuru clan didn't give up on Ningshu. Everyone knew that once you got smallpox, you wouldn't get it again in your lifetime. The Neohuru clan still hoped that Ningshu would be able to get through it. Ningshu accepted the Neohuru clan's money. He put on his cloak and went to the Neohuru clan's manor. The Neohuru clan's manor wasn't very big. There were a few tenant farmers. Ningshu stayed in a small house. Occasionally, he would go into the mountains to look for herbs. He would brew his own medicine and cook his own meals. Because of her illness, no one went near her house. If Ningshu wanted to eat something, he had to go to the vegetable garden to pick it himself. Ningshu originally wanted to use the medicine from the system. However, he guessed that it was a trial mission. There was no way for him to use the things that were exchanged from the system. Damn, it was so itchy. He still hadn't recovered from his illness. He didn't know if he could survive. Ningshu could only be thankful that he had studied medicine before and was able to suppress his illness. Otherwise, he could only wait for death. Chapter 621. This was the biggest test of this mission. She had to save other people's lives, but she also had to save her own. Ningshu didn't want her mission to fail on the verge of success. Every day, she drank bowl after bowl of medicine, taking it orally and using it externally. She had exhausted all the methods available to her. Ningshu felt unprecedentedly lonely as she fought against life and death alone. There was no one around her. Even when she was undergoing chemotherapy, there were doctors and nurses accompanying her. But here, the people in the manor rejected her. Ningshu's heart was filled with despair and an indescribable loneliness. Did they want her to experience the feeling of being tortured by her illness again? Ningshu couldn't help but want to scratch her face. Her face was itchy, but this kind of blister was broken. Wherever the water flowed, there would be blisters. Her claws couldn't be cheap. Fortunately, after 2 months of treatment, the blisters on Ningshu's body and face began to scab slowly. In other words, Ningshu had survived. When the scabs slowly faded, Ningshu applied some herbs to her face to prevent the acne scars on her face. She was going to be the Neohuru clan's personal maid and enter the palace in the future. Without a decent image, the Neohuru clan wouldn't be able to bring her out even if they trusted her. After a few months of suffering, Ningshu's smallpox was completely cured. When she returned to Baylor Manor, the Neohuru clan was very happy to see Ningshu. When the Neohuru clan saw the acne marks on the back of Ningshu's hand, they knew that her illness was completely cured. During this period of time, the Neohuru clan had to guard against others harming their children. Their nerves had been in a relatively tense state. Now that they saw Ningshu, the Neohuru clan unconsciously breathed a sigh of relief in their hearts. It was really important to have a maid with medical skills by her side. She would be able to detect if anything was wrong. Ningshu bowed and expressed her gratitude to the Neohuru clan. Then she saw that Hongli could now turn over, sit up, and slowly crawl. It was growing quite fast. Ningshu returned to the Bailey mansion and inquired about Gij's situation. Gij was now 2 years old and could walk slowly by herself. Ningshu glanced from afar. Gij was very healthy, and there were several maids looking after her. The maids were all doing their best to take care of Gij. It was better for Gij to work for Nian than for Song Yunxian. Besides, Nian was Song Yunxuan's concubine, and her status was higher than that of Gij. Now Song Gij didn't want her daughter back. She just wanted to get pregnant again and give birth to a son. There were so many women in the backyard who had given birth to a son. Song Gij tried her best to give birth to a son. None of this had anything to do with Ningshu. However, when would she be able to complete this mission? It had been so long. Was 2333 dead? She wanted to go back. Calling 2333, are you there? Ningshu wanted to see if 2333 had malfunctioned. Why hadn't he told her to leave yet? What's the matter? 2333's voice sounded in Ningshu's mind. When can I leave this world? Ningshu felt that his mission had been completed. Gij had gotten rid of her fate. At least she was now 2 years old. I'll inform you when the time is up. 2333 didn't say anything else after that. Ningshu was speechless. What kind of mission was this? He had no idea what the requirements were for completing this mission. Ningshu stopped thinking about when to leave. He asked the members of the Neohuru clan. Gij, did you find out who wanted to harm the young master? Speaking of this matter, the members of the Neohuru clan looked gloomy. They shook their heads. I didn't find out. I just found out which embroiderer made the clothes. However, the embroiderer left Baylor Mansion, saying that she had a serious illness and went home. Does Gij have any suspects? Ningshu asked. It was obvious that he was targeting Hongli. Jun was targeted because of his potential, while Hongli was targeted because of his stumbling block. For some people, Hongli was a stumbling block. Suspects. The members of the Neohuru clan pursed their lips and shook their heads. I don't know. Ningshu looked at the members of the Neohuru clan. He felt that the Neohuru clan had a suspect, but he wasn't sure. Ningshu changed the topic. Does Master Baylor know about this? I didn't tell him. Even if I did. Even if she told him, he wouldn't protect her child. The members of the Neohuru clan didn't look good. Ningshu shook his head. No matter what Master Baylor's attitude is, it's always good to let him know about this. The matters of the harem were not only sneaky and concealed. Sometimes it was more effective to do it openly. No matter what, Jun was the master of this mansion. The way he handled this matter would only be beneficial to the Neohuru clan. Ningshu suspected Ulana Fujin. Fujin held the power of the entire harem. Everything in the harem would go through her hands. If she asked an embroiderer to leave, she would have to pack up and leave. Because she was the woman with the most power in the harem. However, these were all Ningshu's guesses. Fujin had already given birth to a legitimate son. The other children were all illegitimate. They were no threat to her children. Why did she want to deal with the children of the Neohuru clan? But Hong Hui died at the age of 8. It was difficult to understand that she was targeting the children of the Neohuru clan, because she knew the history. There were transmigrators and reborn people in the harem. Then Fujin might have been reborn. Look at what kind of people were in Jun's harem. Transmigration and rebirth were all for the sake of capturing this man, Jun, and using him to reach the peak of power. In order to verify whether Fujin had transmigrated, Ningshu asked about Ulana La's harem, without leaving a trace. Ulana La had hired a female doctor from the palace to help take care of the child. There were 3 wet nurses to ensure that there was enough milk. From Ulana La's attitude, it could be seen that she cared about her child very much. Perhaps she had been reborn, but it had nothing to do with a little girl like her. As for Ulana La's conflict with the Neohuru clan, Ningshu naturally chose to stand on the side of the Neohuru clan. Back then, Song Gij had thrown her out like a pot, and the Neohuru clan had taken over. If the Neohuru clan hadn't accepted her at that time, Ningshu didn't know what the situation would be like now. At that time, Ulana La had knocked on the mountain to scare the tiger, and she had been the mountain that had suffered. No matter what, her fate and that of the Neohuru clan were tied together. Whether it was the Neohuru clan, the reborn Ulana La, or the little Neohuru clan that had transmigrated to the present, who could win the battle? She had forgotten that there was Jun who was sandwiched among these women. For Jun to be able to obtain the admiration of so many strange women, his life was not in vain. Ningshu didn't tell the Neohuru clan about her guess. There were some things that she could say, but there were some things that a servant like her could say. Ningshu's current task was still to take care of the child. She really didn't want to be a confinement nanny anymore. She had taken care of one child after another, from childhood to school age. Next time, she didn't want an adult son to appear. Chapter 622. Song Gij's personal maid, Hong Mei, came over to ask Ningshu if he had a secret recipe for having children. Ningshu was depressed. Why did people always ask him this? It was as if knowing a bit of medicine would give him a secret recipe for having children. Song Gij looked for him. which meant that she was very impatient and wanted to have children. Moreover, she wanted to have a boy. Ningshu looked at Hong Mei and said, I don't have a secret recipe for having children. Hong Mei frowned. How can you not have one? When you came to Nyahila Gij's courtyard, she was already pregnant, and it was a boy. Gij said that as long as you help her, she will give you a big gift. Hong Mei took out a sachet. This is Gij's reward for you. Ningshu opened the sachet and looked inside. There was some money inside. He returned the sachet to Hong Mei and said, I really don't have a secret recipe for having children. Hong Mei's face suddenly turned ugly. Miaoling, what do you mean? No matter who you are now, you were once Gij's person. Now that you have someone else, you have forgotten about Gij. You betrayed your master. Ningshu turned around and looked at Hong Mei. I am just a servant. I am a servant of Baylor House. My master is Baylor House. I am loyal to whoever I serve. With Gij Song's EQ, she was cannon fodder in the backyard. It was easy for her to offend people. Ningshu turned around and walked away, no longer paying attention to Hong Mei. Hong Mei angrily stomped her feet and went back to report to Gij Song. Ding! The trial mission has been completed after 3 years and 6 months. You have left the mission world. 2333's voice sounded in Ningshu's head. Ningshu never thought 2333's voice could be so beautiful. Ningshu's head buzzed. When he opened his eyes again, he was back in the system space. Ningshu looked at the furniture in the system space. The sofa, the bookshelf, the tea table, she couldn't help but cheer. She jumped onto the sofa and bounced around. She was finally back. Her trial mission was completed. Completed. After a while, Ningshu calmed himself down and asked 2333. You said there would be a reward for completing the quest. What is it? It was a mission that could make high-ranking mission takers risk their lives to enter. There will definitely be rewards. Why are you in such a hurry? 2333 said disdainfully. What's there to be excited about? You've just completed a trial quest and you're already so happy? What a good-for-nothing. Ningshu. The attribute panel appeared in front of Ningshu. Serial number, 23333 name. Ningshu, intermediate mission taker, age, 27.1. 65 million/1. 5 million soul value. 300 HP. 71 wisdom. 200 charm, 4 luck. 54 spiritual power. 120 faith. 44 combat power. 122 aptitude. 49 merit. 26 skills. 5th ring shooting technique. Trash fighting technique. Entry to unique martial arts. Elementary poison technique. Elementary business management knowledge. Elementary code programming. Elementary lawyer skills. Honorable title. Goddess of War. Selfless ancestor tools. Calm aura amulet aura. Mother of the world Queen's blessing. Model worker. Chunxi's blessing. Leader aura grass blessing. Best friend Miao Miao Miao's blessing. Life-saving hand. Zhu Su Nyang's blessing. Completed the trial quest. Obtained 50 attribute points, 4 merit points, 5 amulets, and 1 sea law stone. Ningshu looked at the rewards and asked 2333. That's it. Isn't the reward very generous? 2333 said. Ningshu said, 5 amulets, that means you have 5 extra lives. That's 5 extra lives. Looks like it's not bad. Ningshu was a little surprised and asked, what is it that makes high-ranking mission takers risk their lives to obtain it? Sea Law Stone. This thing is wanted by the higher-ups. It can be exchanged for many precious things. 2333 explained. What's the use of this Sea Law Stone? Ningshu asked. It's useless. For people of your level, it's useless. Some powerful people want to break through and find a breakthrough through the Sea Law Stone to enter another level. This level is too far away for you. It's so far that it's calculated in light years. Ningshu, would it kill him not to mock her? Law Sea Stone? Ningshu frowned. This Sea Law Stone can't be the stone from the Sea Law Stone we went to last time, right? It's an item from the Sea Law Stone. Everyone who becomes an intermediate mission taker and passes the trial quest will receive a Sea Law Stone. As for why, I don't know. 2333 said indifferently. Do you want to keep this Sea Law Stone for yourself, or exchange it for something good in the virtual space? 2333 asked. Ning Shu always felt that a stone would not be given for no reason. Moreover, if powerful people needed these things, it meant that this thing was very precious. Ning Shu decided to keep it for himself. Ning Shu took the sea law stone. The sea law stone was completely black. At first glance, it looked like the chaos stone that she had obtained before. It felt cold and bone-chilling in her hand. She could vaguely hear the sound of waves from inside. Actually, the sea law stone is a space. It nurtures the laws inside, but no one can break it. There is a saying that if one can merge with the sea law stone, they will become an eternal existence. Merge into one. Ning Shu stared at the stone. How to merge into one and become a stone. Ning Shu put the sea law stone back. It was indeed too far away. She was an intermediate mission taker. The distance between her and 2333's height was too big to describe. Ning Shu was already very happy to be able to get 5 amulets. Amulets could only be exchanged with merit points. One amulet cost 30 merit points. When doing missions, she felt very safe. The 6 amulets allowed her to do missions with confidence. Ning Shu distributed the 50 points to wisdom, luck, strength, spirit, and aptitude. Number 23333 Name Ning Shu, intermediate mission taker. Age 27 points 1. 65 million/1. 5 million soul. 300 health, 71 wisdom. 20010 charm. 4 luck, 5410 spirit. 12010 faith. 44 strength. 12210 aptitude. 4910 merit. 30 skills. 5th ring shooting technique. Trash fighting technique. Beginner peerless martial arts. Beginner poison technique. Beginner business management knowledge. Beginner code programming. Beginner lawyer skills honorary title. Goddess of war selfless ancestor tools. Calm aura amulet aura. Mother of the world queen's blessing. Sister model worker. Chun-Chi's blessing leader. Aura grass blessing. Best friend for life. Meow Meow Meow's blessing. Life-saving hand. Zhu Su Nyang's blessing. After adding, Ning Shu realized that the attribute points were really not enough. He could only add them to life-saving attributes. Chapter 623. Since it's a trial mission, there should be a rating, right? How was my rating this time? Ning Shu asked 2333. 2333 said, "This mission is not bad, it's excellent. You got an excellent rating." What is the rating based on? Ning Shu asked with some surprise. He didn't expect to get an excellent rating. 2333 said, "Everything you do in the mission will be included in the scope of the assessment. Will reaction and the bottom line of a person. Your actions will add or subtract points for the assessment." Oh, I see. Ning Shu asked again. What's the use of this rating? Maybe it's useful, maybe it's not. The final result is a string of data. Staying alive is the most important thing. Just like your beginner trial. You didn't do well in all aspects, but you survived until now. 2333 Ning Shu said. Now our journey is the sea of stars. Ning Shu listened to 2333's impassioned words. His face expressionless, his heart unmoved. Boring. 2333 snorted. Then why did the mission suddenly end? Was it because the mission was completed? Ning Shu asked again. 2333 explained. Because the mission gave you so much time. You completed the mission, but before the time is up, you can't leave the mission world. Even if you didn't complete the mission, you still have to leave the mission world. So this was what the silver-haired man meant. Staying alive was the most important thing. Ning Shu felt a little tired, so he lay on the bed and slept. No matter what, he had to sleep first. The trial mission was finally over. The process was a little complicated, but it was finally over. Ning Shu woke up after a nap, twisted his body, and relaxed a lot. Then, he prepared to go to the virtual space and eat a big meal. No matter how much he ate, he wouldn't get fat. And no matter how much he ate, he wouldn't feel bloated. It couldn't be better. Ning Shu sat in the restaurant, eating while listening to the conversations of the people in the restaurant. It was good to listen to gossip, but it wasn't anything important. After leaving the restaurant, Ning Shu strolled around for a while, looking at all kinds of items. Of course, he just looked and didn't buy anything. It was just that they were too expensive. Some real items were too expensive, and Ning Shu found that points were not that valuable. Many items could only be exchanged with faith, power, and merit. It just so happened that merit and power of faith were the most difficult things to obtain. Unlike points, every mission would reward him with points. Back in the system space, Ning Shu asked, "How many points do I need to level up to an advanced mission taker?" 20 million. Ning Shu was speechless. He really wanted to slap himself in the face. Why did he ask such a stupid question? Just hearing about 20 million points was enough to shock him. Why are there so many points? This time, he only needed 3 million points to become an intermediate mission enforcer. Why did he need so many points to become an advanced mission enforcer? From 3 million to 20 million, how many times did he need? 6 times. It was better not to know. So many points. When will I be able to earn enough? Ning Shu felt a little hopeless. Who knows? Ning Shu was speechless. What was this called? Forget it. I'll take it one step at a time. 20 million it is. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the sofa cultivating. He silently recited the formula of the ultimate martial arts. When he was done, he took out a book from the bookshelf and slowly flipped through it. Suddenly he thought of something and looked up from the book. He asked 2333. You know that I met someone during the mission. Do you know his name? What is his identity? How could he be qualified to kill a mission enforcer? Why are you asking this? I don't know who he is. I don't know anyone from the upper management. 2333 said lightly. Why are you asking about his identity? He killed a mission enforcer so casually. If I know who he is next time I see him, I will hide far away. Even now, when he thought of being pointed at by a black gun barrel, even in his soul form, he felt his hair stand on end. It couldn't be more terrifying. Oh, then just hide far away. 2333 said casually. This was a matter of life and death. Couldn't they be a little more serious? As long as you don't do anything that crosses the line, who would want to kill an ant like you? You think too much. 2333 said disdainfully. To a truly powerful person, you are just an ant. Who would care about an ant beside their feet? Ning Shu? I hate talking to 2333. Ning Shu shut his mouth and continued reading. He couldn't chat with 2333 anyway. The system space was completely silent. Only the sound of Ning Shu flipping through the pages could be heard. After some time, Ning Shu finished reading the book and slowly placed it back on the bookshelf. After watering the potted plants, he went for a run in exchange for fasting pills, water, medicine, fake death medicine, and some daily necessities from the system space. Alright, let's enter the quest, Ning Shu said to 2333. After that, he closed his eyes and waited for 2333 to teleport him. However, there was no movement for a long time, and he didn't feel the dizziness of teleportation. What's going on? Ning Shu opened his eyes and saw a woman standing not far from him. She was staring at him blankly. Ning Shu looked left and right. This was the system space. How did this person get in? Are you the one who helped me? The woman asked. She was wearing a hospital gown, which made her look very thin and weak. This woman's complexion was pale, but her lips were blue. Her face was very small, just like the legendary palm-sized face. Her facial features were exquisite. If a person's face was really so small, with a sickly complexion, it would make people feel uncomfortable and not feel that she was very beautiful. What are you doing? The client is asking you a question. You can meet the client before you become an intermediate quest taker. Did you forget? 2333 asked when he saw Ning Shu's blank face. Ning Shu reacted and quickly said, I am. What's your wish? My name is Ni Jing. I want that bastard to die a horrible death. Ni Jing looked at Ning Shu and said lightly, That's my wish. Ning Shu thought for a moment. You're married? Yes, I'm an incomplete woman. Ni Jing's eyes were filled with tears. In the end, he told me that he fell in love with someone else. There's no right or wrong in love. There's only love and no love. Ning Shu was speechless. When it came to relationships, it was so troublesome. Other than that, do you have any other wishes? Ning Shu asked Jing. Jing shook her head. I only have one wish. I want them to die a horrible death. The client has to pay a price. What are you going to pay? Ning Shu asked Jing. Jing pursed her lips. I'm willing to give up all of my soul energy, leaving only the source of my soul to reincarnate. Chapter 624. When Ning Shu heard that Jing wanted to start over, he was surprised and asked, You don't plan to go back? Mission enforcers could not stay in the mission world for long. Qian could go back. Jing shook her head. My body has been tortured. I want to start over. I'm just angry. Their happiness is stepping on my bones. What right do they have? Ning Shu nodded. Okay, I'll accept this mission. Looking at Jing, Ning Shu thought of the days when he stayed in the hospital. He also suffered from the pain of illness, but she did not experience this situation. Jing's face showed a faint smile. She looked very gentle, different from the angry look just now. Thank you. Jing's soul gradually disappeared. Ning Shu was puzzled. He asked 2333. The mission enforcer will give their soul, but I have never received any soul power. What's going on? The mission enforcer gave you 1/3 of the soul. The system took the other 2/3. 2333 said. So dark. She had not even seen 1/3 of it. Every time you train in the system space, you absorb pure soul power. What else do you think you absorb every time you train? Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. He did not know what the system space was before. He only knew that it could strengthen the soul. He did not expect it to be soul power. Then I'll exchange for a gun. This is the modern world. Ning Shu said and opened the exchange page. She found the gun exchange page. She found that she could not exchange for any of the guns. The exchange button was grayed out. Why? Why can't I exchange for a gun? Ning Shu was deeply depressed. This is an era of peace. Do you really want to exchange for a gun and kill whoever you don't like? You're a quest taker. You need to rely on your own strength to help your client turn the tides of life. Also, I've already said that the system has a corresponding rule. If you can't exchange for something, it's not allowed to appear in the system. You need to truly help the mission enforcer to live a successful life. 2333 encouraged Ning Shu. Good luck. You have always done well. You should use less of the system's things. A truly strong person does not need to rely on these external things. Ning Shu. Ha ha ha. Who didn't know how to say a few nice words. She was the one who was going to do the mission, not 2333. Get lost, get lost. Ning Shu took a deep breath and said, Enter the quest. Ning Shu felt the familiar dizziness. He felt as if his soul was squeezing into a body. When the soul and the body merged, he immediately felt very uncomfortable. He was panicking and short of breath. His ears were filled with the sound of his heart beating without any rhythm. He felt that his heart was beating so fast that it felt like it was going to explode in the next moment. Heart disease. Jing had a heart attack. Ning Shu immediately chanted the mind-cleansing mantra in her heart. She felt someone pry open her mouth and feed her a pill and water. Ning Shu swallowed the pill with water. After a while she felt better. Her heart didn't feel like it was going to explode, but her body was very weak. She slowly opened her eyes and saw a handsome face. Jing, are you okay? The handsome man's face was filled with worry and anger. At this moment, Ning Shu found herself lying on the floor and struggling to get up. The man helped Ning Shu up and asked anxiously, Jing, are you really okay? Ning Shu shook his head. I'm fine. I want to rest. Okay. The man carried Ning Shu horizontally. Ning Shu saw a woman standing in the living room. This woman had a graceful figure. She bit her lips tightly and looked very stubborn. Her eyes were fixed on the man who was carrying Ning Shu. The man carried Ning Shu to the bedroom and gently placed Ning Shu on the bed. He covered Ning Shu with a blanket and sat on the edge of the bed. A pair of warm hands covered the back of Ning Shu's hand. Have a good rest. Ning Shu nodded and closed her eyes. The man went out and closed the door. Ning Shu began to accept the plot. The man just now was Jing's husband Jing Xiaozi. Jing and Jing Xiaozi had been married for almost 5 years, and they had feelings for each other. Jing Xiaozi was the only son of the Jing family. He married Enai Jing, who had congenital heart disease, and was under a lot of pressure. However, he still married Enai Jing resolutely. However, Enai Jing's heart disease prevented her from doing strenuous exercise. Jing Xiaozi didn't dare to be too vigorous in bed, and used the most gentle method. Enai Jing couldn't bear children. The huge burden of pregnancy was too much for Enai Jing's body to bear. Perhaps Enai Jing's body would collapse before the child was born. However, without a child, who would take care of the Jing family's business? Enai Jing's mother-in-law came up with the idea of surrogacy. Enai Jing was a little sad, but she always felt guilty that she couldn't bear a child for Jing Xiaozi. In addition, her parents-in-law were very dissatisfied with her, so she agreed. The woman in the living room just now was the surrogate that Jing Xiaozi's mother found. Yixi's father's company was about to close down. Jing Xiaozi's mother offered to lend money to Yixi's family on the condition that she would be a surrogate mother. For the sake of her father and family, Yixi resolutely stepped forward and signed a surrogate contract. When Jing Xiaozi learned about this, he was very angry and even hated Yixi, who came to be a surrogate mother. At this time, Jing Xiaozi still had feelings for Enai Jing in his heart. Jing Xiaozi's mother brought Yixi home and said that it was to nurse Yixi's body. At the same time, the husband, wife, and surrogate mother lived under the same roof. The situation was too fucking weird. As they slowly got along, Jing Xiaozi developed feelings for Yixi, a stubborn girl who made people's hearts ache. However, he loved his wife and was struggling in his heart. When Enai Jing found that her husband's heart was no longer with her, she began to think of ways to target Yixi and make Jing Xiaozi misunderstand Yixi. However, Yixi was a very stubborn girl and didn't explain. Anyway, Yixi and Jing Xiaozi were entangled in this way. In the end, Yixi disappeared after giving birth to a child. Jing Xiaozi suddenly realized that he had fallen in love with Yixi. Jing Xiaozi held the newborn child in his arms. His heart was in great pain, and he drank every day. He completely forgot that he was the husband of another woman, and was indifferent to Enai Jing. Especially when he found out what Enai Jing had done to Yixi in the past. He hated Enai Jing even more. "You're no longer the Enai Jing I know. I didn't expect you to be so vicious." These were Jing Xiaozi's original words to Enai Jing. From then on, Jing Xiaozi didn't go home. Even when Enai Jing called him when she had a heart attack, he ignored her, because it was a heart transplant operation. Enai Jing's family spent a lot of effort to find this heart. However, Jing Xiaozi refused to sign the contract. In the end, he reluctantly signed the contract. Enai Jing's body was so weak that she couldn't bear the risk of the operation, and died on the operating table. Chapter 625. Yixi came back 5 years later. During these 5 years, Jing Xiaozi did not have any other women. Whenever he saw Yixi again, Jing Xiaozi decided to chase Yixi back, and keep this woman who made him angry by his side. This hateful woman stole his heart, and ran away without a trace. What's more, this woman was the mother of his child, and took the child to chase after Yixi. At this time, Jing Xiaozi was a bachelor who had just lost his wife. Any ambitious woman wanted to climb into his bed, but Yixi avoided him like the plague. The hurt she had suffered 5 years ago made Yixi hate and fear men more than she loved them. After a period of setbacks, the two finally got together. They talked about their childhood by chance. Yixi said that she met a boy when she was young. The boy was kidnapped. Yixi saw the gangster's face, so the gangster took her away. The two children relied on each other, and escaped with a little cleverness. They ran far away hand in hand. Speaking of this matter, Jing Xiaozi hugged Yixi in his arms and sighed. Fortunately, he did not miss it. They were destined to be together. Ning Shu, who had accepted the plot, almost vomited blood. Putting aside the fact that so many gangsters could not keep an eye on the two children, what happened when they were young was completely a forced whitewash. Their love was destined, and Yixi was not a third party. Ning Shu could completely feel the resentment in Enai Qian's heart now. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the bed, and planned to practice peerless martial arts. His body, which would easily collapse on the ground if he held his chest, was not conducive to completing the task. However, there was little spirit energy in modern times, and this body's meridians were not complete, so the effect of cultivation was minimal. Ning Shu could only cultivate slowly. Knock, knock, knock. Ning Shu, who was cultivating, was interrupted by a knock on the door. Ning Shu lay down and covered himself with the quilt. After the knock, there was a soft sound of the door opening. Jingjing, wake up. Jing Xiaozi walked to the bedside and reached out to touch Ning Shu's forehead. Ning Shu opened his eyes and avoided Jing Xiaozi's hand. He sat up and asked, "What's wrong?" A smile appeared on Jing Xiaozi's face. Jing Xiaozi was wearing a suit, which made him look tall and straight. The white cuffs of his shirt made him look elegant and noble. Jing Xiaozi looked at Ning Shu with tenderness in his eyes and said, "Lazy bum, it's time to eat." Ning Shu grinned, lifted the blanket and got out of bed. Jing Xiaozi helped Ning Shu up. Ning Shu went downstairs and saw Yi Shi, who was already sitting at the dining table. Ni Jing's in-laws were also sitting at the same table. "Are you feeling better?" Jing Xiaozi's mother Ning Shu asked. Jing Xiaozi pulled out a chair for Ning Shu. Ning Shu sat down and said, "Much better. You have to pay attention to your health. It's not good to be like this all the time. The most important thing is that you suffer," Jing Xiaozi's mother said. She said it as if she was willing to get this disease. This was not something she could choose. She was blaming herself for using the disease to torment everyone and pretending to have a heart attack. Ning Shu did not speak. He looked at Yi Shi, who was sitting opposite him. Yi Shi was quietly eating the dinner specially prepared by the nutritionist. Yi Shi's face was rosy and her skin was smooth. She was a very beautiful and healthy woman. She was completely different from the thin and sick Ni Jing. Noticing Ning Shu's gaze, Yi Shi and Ning Shu looked at each other, and then lowered their heads. After practicing the peerless martial arts for the whole afternoon, Ning Shu was also hungry, and began to eat silently. Jing Xiaozi saw that Ning Shu ate a lot today and was very happy. He quickly picked up food for Ning Shu. Yi Shi glanced at Jing Xiaozi and Ning Shu, and lowered her head to eat her dinner. After dinner, Yi Shi helped to tidy up and quietly washed the dishes in the kitchen, trying to reduce her presence. Although Jing Xiaozi was talking to Ning Shu, his eyes kept looking at the kitchen. Finally Ning Shu said, "You ate a lot tonight. I'll get you some digestive medicine. Otherwise, you won't feel good when you sleep later." Ning Shu did not speak and watched Jing Xiaozi go to the kitchen. Jing Xiaozi walked into the kitchen and saw Yi Shi washing the dishes. He walked over and grabbed Yi Shi's wrist with a cold expression. Yi Shi was holding a plate in her hand. She was caught off guard by Jing Xiaozi, and the plate fell to the ground. Yi Shi looked at the cold Jing Xiaozi with a stunned expression. She wanted to break away from Jing Xiaozi's hand, but Jing Xiaozi pushed Yi Shi against the wall. Yi Shi panicked and wanted to push Jing Xiaozi away. Jing Xiaozi said coldly, "Put away your thoughts. Don't think that I will touch you. The person I love is Jingjing. You are just a woman who came to be a surrogate mother for money." Yi Shi bit her lips tightly and did not explain anything. She silently confronted Jing Xiaozi. This man was obviously gentle. Why was he so cold and ruthless to her? She did not want to be a surrogate mother. "Why don't you speak? What did you say to Jingjing during the day that made her have a heart attack?" Jing Xiaozi put his hand on the wall behind Yi Shi and said, "Don't challenge my patience." Jing Xiaozi's tall body almost covered Yi Shi's body. His strong breath made Yi Shi feel suffocated, and even her heartbeat became abnormal. "I know you hate me, but I really didn't say anything," Yi Shi said. Jing Xiaozi sneered. His expression seemed a little evil, which was completely different from how he usually acted in front of Ni Jing. Jing Xiaozi was careful and gentle to Ni Qian, but he treated Yi Shi like a man conquering a woman. Jing Xiaozi said that he hated Yi Shi, but he often touched her body, pulled her arm, and pressed her against the wall. He often said heart-wrenching words to mock Yi Shi. Ning Shu quietly stood at the door and looked at the two people. Jing Xiaozi's behavior in front of Yi Shi was completely unlike himself. Jing Xiaozi was an elegant and polite person. He was gentle but alienated. Now he looked like an evil and domineering CEO. Whether Jing Xiaozi mocked Yi Shi or did something bad to Yi Shi, he subconsciously wanted to attract Yi Shi's attention. However, Jing Xiaozi still hypnotized himself in his heart. I love Ni Jing, I love my wife. I don't like this woman who became a surrogate mother for money. Absolutely not. This woman's existence destroyed his relationship with Ni Jing. Jing Xiaozi was an indecisive person. He said that he loved his wife and flirted with Yi Shi at the same time. Jing Xiaozi, you said that I became a surrogate mother for money. I admit it. Yi Shi raised her head and looked at Jing Xiaozi. In order to save my father's company, I am willing to pay such a price, whether you like me or not. What does me being a surrogate mother have to do with you? This is my own business, Yi Shi said stubbornly. You have a sharp tongue. I don't want my child to crawl out of a woman like you, Jing Xiaozi said sarcastically. Chapter 626. As a surrogate mother, Yi Shi was under a lot of pressure. If it were not for her family, she would not have endured Jing Xiaozi's sarcasm. Every time Yi Shi saw Jing Xiaozi, he was gentle to Ni Jing. But when he turned to look at her, he was so cold and evil that it made her heart tremble. Moreover, some of Jing Xiaozi's actions made Yi Shi unable to keep her heart. Yi Shi felt that she was being played by Jing Xiaozi. Yi Shi took a deep breath and pushed Jing Xiaozi away. She could not let this man disturb her heart anymore. As soon as Yi Shi pushed Jing Xiaozi away, she saw Ning Shu standing at the door. Her face suddenly turned pale. Ni Jing. Jing Xiaozi quickly turned his head and saw the expressionless Ning Shu. With a gentle smile on his face he asked, Jing, why are you here? Ning Shu raised his eyebrows and said, You've been in the kitchen for so long, so I came to see you. What are you doing? Ning Shu's eyes swept back and forth between Jing Xiaozi and Yi Shi. Jing Xiaozi came over, put his hand on Ning Shu's shoulder, and pulled Ning Shu away. Jing Xiaozi turned his head and glanced at Yi Shi coldly. Yi Shi's heart trembled under Jing Xiaozi's cold gaze. Jing Xiaozi really loved his wife. Xiaozi, come here. Mom has something to tell you, Jing Xiaozi's mother said to Jing Xiaozi, while glancing at Ning Shu. Go ahead. I'll go back to my room first. Ning Shu pushed away Jing Xiaozi's hand on his shoulder. Jing Xiaozi said softly, Go ahead. Ning Shu returned to his bedroom and thought about his next task. Since Ni Jing did not plan to come back, his task was to deal with Jing Xiaozi and Yi Shi. He might as well get a divorce. He did not want to feel uncomfortable, but he could not give up his position to Yi Shi for nothing. Jing Xiaozi's behavior was deceiving Ni Jing. Ning Shu was thinking about something when Jing Xiaozi walked in and sat on the bed. He said to Ning Shu, Jing, there's something going on at the company. I'm going to work overtime tonight, so I won't be back. Be careful. Ning Shu glanced at Jing Xiaozi and asked doubtfully, What's so urgent that you have to go to the company at night? There's an urgent cooperation proposal that needs to be handled. I'm the CEO of the company, so I need to be present. Jing Xiaozi's expression was gentle. Liar. No matter how gentle you look, you can't hide your twinkling eyes. Ning Shu remained calm and nodded. Finish your work early. Don't stay up late. It's not good for your health. Jing Xiaozi reached out and gently touched Ning Shu's hand, then turned and left. Ning Shu sat cross-legged on the bed, cultivating his peerless martial arts. He felt extremely uncomfortable. His chest was stuffy and his heart was flustered. He couldn't imagine how miserable Ni Jing's life must be. Ni Jing wanted to use her illness to pull Jing Xiaozi back to her side. As long as Jing Xiaozi stayed with Yi Shi, Ni Jing would deliberately pretend to have a heart attack. However, this method couldn't hold a person whose heart wasn't with her. When a person didn't care about you, any of your actions would be useless. When I don't love you, you're nothing. Instead, you're torturing yourself. Ning Shu, who was sweating from cultivating, stopped cultivating. When he looked at his watch, it was already 11 o'clock in the evening. He had been cultivating until now without paying attention. Ning Shu took a shower and went downstairs to drink water. When he passed by Yi Shi's room downstairs, he heard some movement inside. Ning Shu leaned against the wall. He could only vaguely hear some movement, but he couldn't hear it clearly. Ning Shu thought about it and quietly opened the door. He went out of the villa and went to the window of Yi Shi's room. The light in Yi Shi's room was still on. Ning Shu saw Jing Xiaozi and Yi Shi sleeping on the same bed through the gap between the curtains. It seemed like they had just finished. He could vaguely hear Yi Shi sobbing. Jing Xiaozi looked at Yi Shi's smooth back and turned her body to face him. Don't be like this. Since it's for money, you should make some sacrifices. Yi Shi's eyes were a little dazed. Jing Xiaozi looked at the red marks on Yi Shi's body, and his eyes darkened. He lowered his head and kissed Yi Shi's lips. Ning Shu turned back to the villa and went to Yi Shi's room. He kicked the door and suddenly made a low sound. How could the surrogate mother be the two of you? Wasn't Enai Jing and Jing Xiaozi artificially inseminated and stuffed into Yi Shi's stomach? I've read a lot. You can't fool me. The two people in the room heard the movement and quickly stopped. Jing Xiaozi pulled the quilt over Yi Shi's body to cover her naked body. Yi Shi was frightened when she heard the sound outside the door, but Jing Xiaozi's action of covering her with the quilt made her heart tremble. She felt that her nose was a little blocked. Jing Xiaozi was only wearing pants and his upper body was bare, revealing his strong body. He looked very sexy. Yi Shi looked away and buried her whole body in the quilt. Jing Xiaozi frowned and opened the door, but there was no one at the door. He looked around, but there was no one at all. Who was playing a prank? Jing Xiaozi closed the door, picked up his clothes and slowly put them on. Yi Shi saw Jing Xiaozi buttoning his shirt. His jade-like fingers looked very elegant. Who's outside? Yi Shi asked in a hoarse voice. Yi Shi looked up at her. No one. Yi Shi took her coat and left. Ning Shu kicked the door and went upstairs to the bedroom. His heart was a little uncomfortable. He walked around the villa and went up and down the stairs. His body was a little uncomfortable. Ning Shu lay on the bed and couldn't sleep with his eyes open. He felt quite speechless. These two people had developed feelings for each other after a long time. Yi Shi's taste made Jing Xiaozi's bones melt. From then on, he was obsessed with Yi Shi's body. Because of Enai Jing's health, Jing Xiaozi and Enai Jing's relationship was very ordinary. It was not like when he was with Yi Shi, where he could satisfy his man's beastly nature and the pleasure of conquering. Jing Xiaozi had never felt this kind of feeling before. It was also something he had never felt with Enai Jing. The two of them secretly slept together behind Enai Jing's back. Until Yi Shi gave birth to a child, Enai Jing thought that Yi Shi's child was the product of her and Jing Xiaozi. When Jing Xiaozi's mother decided to find a surrogate, Enai Jing and Jing Xiaozi went to the hospital to freeze their eggs and sperm. Then, Jing Xiaozi's mother brought Yi Shi back and let her stay at the Jing family's house to recuperate. When her body was in the best physical condition, she would implant the fertilized egg into her uterus. After Yi Shi gave birth to the child and disappeared, Enai Jing tried her best to take care of the child. Her body, which was already not very good, became even worse. In the end, she died on the operating table. Ning Shu took a deep breath. Maybe Jing Xiaozi's mother never thought of using Enai Jing's eggs from the beginning to the end. What happened was driven by Jing Xiaozi's mother. Ning Shu chuckled. Chapter 627. Jing Xiaozi, who was supposed to be rolling around with Ning Shu downstairs, went upstairs. He pushed open the door and saw Ning Shu sitting by the bed drinking water. His eyes flashed and he walked over to Ning Shu and asked, "You haven't slept yet?" Ning Shu turned his head and looked a little surprised. "Didn't you say you were going to the company? Why are you back?" "I've already dealt with it. If I didn't come back, would I have to sleep in the company?" Jing Xiaozi looked at the cup in Ning Shu's hand. "Did you go downstairs to get some water?" Someone kicked the door just now and Jing Xiaozi's eyes scanned Ning Shu's face. Ning Shu took another sip of water and shook his head. "I didn't go downstairs. Auntie Li gave me this water before." Ning Shu's nose twitched. "What's that smell on you?" Then he leaned closer to Jing Xiaozi and sniffed. Jing Xiaozi quickly stepped back. "I'm sweaty from working at the company. I'm sure I smell bad. I'm going to take a shower." Ning Shu smiled and said gently, "Go take a shower." Jing Xiaozi smiled gently at Ning Shu and turned to the bathroom. When he heard the sound of running water inside, he sneered silently. Wasn't it exciting to roll around with another woman right under his wife's nose? After taking a shower, Jing Xiaozi lay next to Ning Shu and said gently to Ning Shu, "Go to sleep." Then he closed his eyes and fell into a deep sleep. Obviously, he was a little tired from the previous exercise. Ning Shu pursed his lips and various thoughts flashed through his mind. The next morning, Jing Xiaozi tidied himself up and woke Ning Shu up. Jing, it's time to get up. Ning Shu opened his eyes and was helped up by Jing Xiaozi. Jing Xiaozi squatted down and straightened Ning Shu's slippers, so that Ning Shu could put them on by stretching out his feet. Ning Shu then took out a comb and combed his hair. He skillfully tied his hair into a fluffy and elegant bun, and inserted a retro jade hairpin into the bun. Jing Xiaozi sized up Ning Shu and said, Jing is just like an ancient woman, gentle and beautiful. Ning Shu didn't even dare to walk too fast, because of his heart disease. Could he be gentle? Even though Ning Shu's heart was raging, his movements were slow. Once his movements were too intense, his heart would beat wildly, and he wouldn't be able to take it. Thank you. Ning Shu tugged at the corner of her mouth and said. She looked at Jing Xiaozi, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, handsome and noble. His face was gentle, and his eyes were full of affection. He treated her even more gently and considerately. If she had not seen Jing Xiaozi and Yi Shi together last night, she would have thought that Jing Xiaozi was a good man. He was tall, handsome, and had a good figure. His wealth was comparable to that of the people of the Wuxia nation. He could not be more perfect. Ning Shu and Jing Xiaozi went downstairs together. Jing Xiaozi's mother was talking to Yi Shi in the living room. Yi Shi pulled her collar from time to time, feeling a little uncomfortable. Jing Xiaozi's mother had a smile on her face and looked at Yi Shi with ambiguous eyes. It seemed that she obviously knew what happened last night. Jing Xiaozi's mother liked Yi Shi more than Ning Shu, her real daughter-in-law. Ning Shu walked over and greeted Jing Xiaozi's mother. Jing Xiaozi's mother turned her head and said to Ning Shu, Yi Shi's body is almost recovered now. It won't be long before the test tube embryo can be implanted into her body. Ning Shu's expression was indifferent. Is that so? Ning Shu sized up Jing Xiaozi's mother. Her manners were polite and elegant. She was a noble lady who dealt with the upper class, the wives of rich businessmen and politicians, and attended any banquet with ease. She was a very shrewd woman. However, Ning Shu hated her and deliberately brought the surrogate mother home to pimp her son. She was the one who pushed the matter between Yi Shi and Jing Xiaozi. Mom, you seem to like Yi Shi very much, Ning Shu said with a smile. Jing Xiaozi's mother smiled and said, Yi Shi is a good child. She stood up and sacrificed herself for her family. There are very few people who are so filial these days. You have to give up something to gain something. Ning Shu's mouth twitched. He did not know whether she was filial or not. But Yi Shi's sacrifice could bring her father's company back to life. There was nothing that could not be sacrificed. It just depended on whether the bargaining chips were enough. If the Yi family went bankrupt, Yi Shi might not be better off than she was now. Ning Shu looked at Yi Shi and asked, Don't you feel hot wearing a scarf? Yi Shi's neck was wrapped with a scarf, and her neck was airtight. She obviously wanted to cover some traces. Yi Shi touched the scarf and sniffed. I have a slight cold. Then you have to take care of your body. Only by taking care of your body can you give birth to a healthy child. Ning Shu said faintly. Yi Shi's expression was gloomy for a moment, and then she said, I know. During breakfast, Ning Shu's fork fell to the ground. When he bent down to pick it up, he saw Jing Xiaozi's foot touching Yi Shi's foot under the table. Yi Shi kept retreating. In the end, Yi Shi stepped on Jing Xiaozi's foot. Jing Xiaozi glanced at Yi Shi indifferently. Yi Shi moved her foot away with a trembling heart. Jing, let me pick it up. When Jing Xiaozi saw Ning Shu bending down, he quickly retracted his foot and bent down to pick up the fork on the ground. Thank you, Ning Shu said faintly. After breakfast, Jing Xiaozi didn't go to work. Ning Shu asked, Aren't you going to work yet? Jing Xiaozi touched his lips and squinted at Yi Shi. He said meaningfully, I'm not going. I was a little tired last night. I'll go to the company in the afternoon. Hearing Jing Xiaozi's words, Yi Shi's body stiffened. She turned around and hurriedly avoided Jing Xiaozi's gaze. Really? Ning Shu said meaningfully, you have to take care of your body. Don't be too tired. Your health is important. Don't let anything happen to you. Jing Xiaozi looked at Yi Shi's flustered appearance, and the corners of his mouth curled up. When he heard Ning Shu's words, he withdrew his gaze and said carelessly, "It's okay. I'll be fine after some rest." Jing Xiaozi stood up. "I'll go to the kitchen to get some juice." "What kind of juice do you want to drink?" "Last time it was digestive medicine. This time it was juice." "What was the reason for the next time?" "Okay, orange juice," Ning Shu said. Jing Xiaozi went to the kitchen with a smile on his face. When he entered the kitchen, he closed the door. Yi Shi's heart trembled. She put down the cup in her hand and wanted to go out. She didn't want to be alone with Jing Xiaozi. Jing Xiaozi took a step forward and stood in front of Yi Shi. Yi Shi instantly felt a suffocating aura. Her heart instantly lost its rhythm, and her face flushed. "Please move aside." Yi Shi lowered her head and said in a voice as soft as a mosquito's. Jing Xiaozi curled his lips. "Move aside? That's not what you said last night. When you hooked your legs around my waist, you didn't say move aside. I remember that you were the one who seduced me last night. Why don't you admit it now?" Jing Xiaozi's expression looked extremely evil, but it had a fatal attraction. Chapter 628. Yi Shi was blocked by Jing Xiaozi in the kitchen. When she heard Jing Xiaozi whispering in her ear, his elegant voice made her want to crawl into a hole in the ground. Yi Shi's face flushed red. "You know that it's not like that." "If it's not like that, then what is it?" Jing Xiaozi's expression became more and more shameless. "Weren't you the one who pestered me? Enough. Don't say any more." Yi Shi took a deep breath, but her face was still red. "You clearly know that this is your mother's intention. Your mother is too sinister. She signed a surrogacy contract before, but she actually asked me to, or else she would withdraw her investment." Yi Shi sighed. Jing Xiaozi sneered. "You are a woman who can do anything for money. I'm already at my wit's end. As long as I can save Dad's company, I'll go all out." Yi Shi raised her head and looked at Jing Xiaozi stubbornly. Jing Xiaozi frowned tightly and looked unhappy. "You speak as if you are a filial daughter. You said that you can enjoy a man's crotch in order to live a rich life. How disgusting." Yi Shi's face was red, but after being ridiculed by Jing Xiaozi, the blood on her face disappeared and her small face turned white. Yi Shi staggered twice, pursed her lips and said stubbornly, "I can do anything for money." "You." Jing Xiaozi was speechless for a moment. Yi Shi felt a little sad. "I know my identity. My duty is to give birth to a child for the Jing family. I won't get in the way of you and your wife. But if you trample on my dignity like this again, I will tell your wife about this." Jing Xiaozi's pupils constricted. He fiercely grabbed Yi Shi's arm and said fiercely, "If you dare to let Jingjing know about this, I will make you beg for death." Yi Shi's arm was grabbed by Jing Xiaozi, and it was very painful. But Yi Shi gritted her teeth and endured it with a stubborn and sarcastic expression on her face. "If you really love your wife so much, why would you do that with me?" Jing Xiaozi's expression was cold. "Of course I love Jingjing. To me you're just a product. A product that I spent tens of millions on. Shouldn't I enjoy it? Besides, you seduced me for tens of millions of yuan. Am I supposed to sit still?" Jing Xiaozi leaned over to Yi Shi's ear and whispered, "You taste good." It really made him crave for more. Yi Shi's heart trembled. She took a step back and leaned against the wall. Jing Xiaozi stretched out his arm and leaned against the wall behind Yi Shi. He leaned over and watched as pink slowly crept up Yi Shi's ears. Jing Xiaozi leaned over to suck on Yi Shi's earlobe and wrapped his tongue around it. Yi Shi shuddered and pushed Jing Xiaozi away. He quickly covered his ears with his hands and stared at Jing Xiaozi with wide eyes. Jing Xiaozi stuck out his tongue to lick his lips and gently rubbed his lips with his thumb. His devilishly charming appearance made Yi Shi stunned. Ning Shu stood at the kitchen door and listened to the conversation between the two. He understood in his heart that Jing Xiaozi's mother was indeed causing trouble. Ever since Jing Xiaozi's mother found Yi Shi, the surrogate mother, and Enai Jing, the mother-in-law, she had this idea. She had never thought of using Enai Jing's ovum. Enai Jing had congenital heart disease. Jing Xiaozi's mother was probably afraid of giving birth to a defective child. Yishi was probably a mistress that Jing Xiao's mother found for her son. She was even using the identity of a surrogate mother. When she gave birth to the child, the original owner would think that it was his own child. Ning Shu sneered in his heart and looked at the two people in the room who were having sex without saying a word. All of this was because Enai Jing was infertile. Jing Xiaozi said that he loved Enai Jing, but he was infatuated with the feeling of rolling around with Yishi. Love grows after a long time. Ning Shu turned back to the living room and sat on the sofa to watch TV. After a while, Jing Xiaozi came out with a glass of juice and put it in Ning Shu's hand. I just squeezed it. Didn't you just go to flirt with girls? You still have time to squeeze juice. Don't mess around. Ning Shu took a sip of the juice. Jing Xiaozi looked at Ning Shu gently and said, I'm going to the company later. You have to be good at home. Ning Shu nodded obediently. Jing Xiaozi took his handbag and left. Before he left, he bent down and gently kissed Ning Shu's forehead. It was as light as a feather. His lips only touched Ning Shu's forehead. Jing Xiaozi turned his head and saw Yishi standing not far away. He raised the corner of his mouth and turned to leave. Ning Shu already had a plan in his heart. Ning Shu turned and saw Yishi in a daze. Yishi quickly lowered her head to avoid eye contact with Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't say anything. He turned and went upstairs. He found the share book from the drawer. This 1% share was the betrothal gift to the Enai family. Enai Jing's parents gave this share to Enai Jing. This 1% share was enough for Enai Jing to live a luxurious life. Ning Shu didn't intend to take this 1% share. At least, he wouldn't leave the shares to the Jing family. Ning Shu changed his clothes and put the pill in his pocket. He took his handbag and left. He contacted the biggest shareholder of the Jing family's company. In every company, there would always be a shareholder who had a lot of shares and threatened the owner of the company. Ning Shu planned to sell this 1% share to this shareholder. When the shareholder heard that Ning Shu wanted to sell the shares to him, he was a little surprised. The shares in his hands were already close to the Jing families. If he sold this 1% share, the balance would gradually tilt to his side. After selling the shares, Ning Shu would have a lot of money. However, he would no longer be able to get dividends from the company. Ning Shu went to buy a set of silver needles and a miniature camera. When he returned to the villa, Ning Shu saw Yishi running on the treadmill. She was slim and had a good figure. She looked very healthy. Jing Xiao's mother had put a lot of thought into choosing a woman for her son. When Yishi saw Ning Shu, she got off the treadmill. After a long time she said, "You're back." After saying that, she felt that it was wrong. It was not her place to say such words. When Yishi faced Ning Shu again, she seemed to be very afraid of Ning Shu. It should not be said that she was afraid, but she was guilty. Maybe she felt a little guilty. Maybe she felt guilty. So after giving birth to the child she disappeared. Moreover, she was deeply hurt by Jing Xiaozi at that time and chose to leave. However, her departure was useless. Instead, it completely broke the relationship between Jing Xiaozi and Enai Jing. And Enai Jing died because of it. After Enai Jing died, there was no one between them anymore. In the end, they lived happily together. Ning Shu thought about it and said to Yishi, "I forgot to buy something. Help me buy it." Yishi obviously didn't expect Ning Shu to ask her for help. She asked, "What is it?" "I forgot to buy underwear. I only wear this brand of underwear. Help me buy it. The servants at home probably can't buy it." Yishi nodded and took the money Ning Shu gave her. She turned and went into the room to change her clothes and went out. Chapter 629. After Yishi left, Ning Shu entered Yishi's room and installed the miniature camera in a hidden position facing the bed. She was planning to divorce Jing Xiaozi. But it was not just a divorce. After installing the miniature camera, Ning Shu left Yishi's room, slowly opened the box, and inserted needles into his body. Ning Shu could only relieve the discomfort in his heart by inserting needles into his acupoints. When Yishi came back and saw Ning Shu's face full of needles, she was a little surprised. Then, she put the bag in front of Ning Shu and said, "This is what you wanted." Ning Shu nodded, then pulled out the silver needles from his face and asked Yi Shi, "What are your plans after the child is born?" Yi Shi's face flashed with gloominess. She shook her head and said, "I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. Although you are a surrogate mother, your body is still pure and can live a good life with the person you love." Ning Shu looked at Yi Shi and said, "Pure and clean." Yi Shi's mind flashed with the image of her and Jing Shaozi. She was no longer pure and clean. Yi Shi's heart was sad, but this man was someone else's husband, and that man loved his wife very much. Let's talk about the future later. Yi Shi didn't want to talk to Ning Shu, so she found an excuse to take a shower and left. Ning Shu looked at Yi Shi's back and raised his eyebrows. Did Yi Shi fall in love with Jing Shaozi? Haha, you two are true love. Are you two destined to be entangled because you have slept together? In the evening, Jing Shaozi came back from work. Ning Shu pulled Jing Shaozi into the bedroom. Jing Shaozi was a little surprised and asked, "What's wrong? What happened?" Jing Shaozi looked at Ning Shu hurriedly pulling him into the bedroom with a doting look on his face. Ning Shu said, "Take off your clothes." Jing Shaozi raised his eyebrows. "Jingjing, what's wrong? Do you want it? Why are you asking me to take off my clothes the moment we get back?" Ning Shu almost wanted to vomit on Jing Shaozi's face. He took out a shining silver needle and said, "I've been learning acupuncture recently, but I can't find the acupoints, so you want me to test acupuncture for you?" Jing Shaozi looked helpless. "When did you learn acupuncture?" "Dad found me a Chinese medicine doctor. He said he can use acupuncture to strengthen the heart and lungs." Ning Shu held the silver needles and urged Jing Shaozi to take off his clothes. Jing Shaozi slowly unbuttoned his shirt and said helplessly, "Just call the doctor home. Do you still have to learn it yourself?" Jing Shaozi took off his clothes, revealing his muscular body as he lay on the bed obediently. "Jingjing, can you do it or not?" Jing Shaozi asked Ning Shu. Ning Shu held a silver needle in his hand and saw some scratches on Jing Shaozi's back. It was obviously scratched by Yi Shi last night. Ning Shu said expressionlessly, "I'm going to prick it. It may hurt a little. Why can't you stop?" Jing Shaozi said helplessly and dotingly. Ning Shu curled her lips. While holding the needle, he looked at the human acupoint chart and pricked Jing Shaozi's back. Jing Shaozi let out a muffled groan. "How do you feel?" Ning Shu asked Jing Shaozi. "It's sore," Jing Shaozi said helplessly. Ning Shu's tone was happy. "It seems that you pricked the right place. Don't move. Again." Jing Shaozi looked even more helpless. He stayed motionless and let Ning Shu prick the needle. Ning Shu pricked an acupoint. Jing Shaozi cried out in pain and asked, "Why is it so painful this time?" Ning Shu looked at the human acupoint chart and hurriedly pulled out the silver needle. He quickly said, "I'm sorry. I pricked the wrong one." Jing Shaozi grimaced in pain and sat up. Ning Shu said, "Are you done fooling around?" Ning Shu asked in surprise. "You know that I'm fooling around. Why are you still letting me prick you? Will you give up if I don't let you prick me?" Jing Shaozi gently flicked Ning Shu's forehead. "Jingjing, you're stubborn." Ning Shu sneered in his heart. What a good man. This man was really gentle. Or was he the real him in front of Yi Shi? Perhaps Jing Shaozi was a man in front of Yi Shi, a man full of aggressiveness towards women. Ning Shu pulled out the silver needle from Jing Shaozi's body. He saw purple blood beads coming out of an acupoint. He wiped them off and said to Jing Shaozi, "Put on your clothes. I think I'd better find a dummy to practice on first." Jing Shaozi slowly put on his clothes. His movements were slow and elegant with a kind of noble aura. Jing Shaozi touched Ning Shu's head and looked very gentle. "Jingjing, don't worry. Take your time. I like you no matter what you do." Ning Shu just raised the corner of his mouth. After dinner, Jing Shaozi accompanied Ning Shu to stroll around the villa garden. Then he received a call and said to Ning Shu, "I have something to deal with in the company. I may not come back tonight." Ning Shu nodded. "Take care of yourself." Jing Shaozi kissed Ning Shu's forehead and turned to leave. Ning Shu returned to the bedroom and turned on his laptop. The computer played the situation in Yi Shi's room. Yi Shi was doing yoga in her room. Ning Shu began to practice unique martial arts. Ning Shu, who was practicing, was interrupted by the sound from the laptop. Jing Xiaozi, who went to the night shift, came back and went to Yixi's room. At this moment, he was pressing on Yixi's body. Yixi's voice was a little breathless as she said, "Jing Xiaozi, let's not do this. Can we do artificial insemination?" Jing Xiaozi's voice was very cold. "It will naturally stop until you are pregnant. Since you have chosen to be a surrogate mother, aren't you willing to endure anything for money? Please don't do this." Yixi's voice was blocked by Jing Xiaozi. Ning Shu watched the two people in the room rolling around. Jing Xiaozi was very wild, and Yixi was being tossed around by him. Enai Jing had never seen Jing Xiaozi like this. Jing Xiaozi and Enai Jing were very gentle in bed. Enai Jing thought that Jing Xiaozi was such a person. However, men were full of aggression and aggression. Ning Shu saved the video. The two of them tossed and turned many times that night. Ning Shu yawned and copied the video to the USB flash drive. He also made several copies. Even if one was destroyed, there would be another one. When it was over, Jing Xiaozi put on his clothes while Yixi was so tired that she fell asleep. Jing Xiaozi looked at Yixi's flirtatious expression after being pampered, and couldn't help but reach out to touch her face. He then realized that she was just a surrogate mother. He had his own wife, Enai Jing. Jing Xiaozi's eyebrows were filled with confusion and struggle. He then fiercely woke Yixi up. Yixi looked at him innocently and blankly. "What's wrong?" Jing Xiaozi looked at her and became angrier. He didn't know whether he was angry at Yixi or himself. Chapter 630. Ning Shu saved the video, unplugged the USB flash drive, locked it in the drawer, turned off the computer, yawned and lay down to sleep. Hearing footsteps, Ning Shu counted to 3 in his heart, and heard the sound of the door opening. Then, the sound of running water came from the bathroom. Ning Shu was speechless. Jing Xiaozi's nightlife was really busy. He moved from one woman's bed to another woman's bed. Moreover, Jing Xiaozi seemed to enjoy this kind of life. When he hugged his wife, he even flirted with the surrogate mother, who was standing not far away. The change of roles was too smooth and seamless. After taking a shower, Jing Xiaozi fell asleep next to Ning Shu. Ning Shu turned around and saw Jing Xiaozi's back facing him. His breathing was long and deep. Obviously, he fell asleep as soon as his head hit the pillow. In fact, Jing Xiaozi and Enai Jing were now sleeping in the same bed, but dreaming different dreams. Jing Xiaozi said that he loved Enai Jing, but in his heart, he was fascinated by Enai Jing. It rose from pure carnal desire to affection. However, Jing Xiaozi was deceiving himself and swaying left and right. After waking up, Jing Xiaozi was still gentle and considerate to Ning Shu. The two of them looked like a loving husband and wife. Although Jing Xiaozi was gentle, Ning Shu felt that Jing Xiaozi's attitude was beginning to be perfunctory. He said perfunctory words in a gentle tone. Ning Shu and Jing Xiaozi went downstairs. Jing Xiaozi's mother was asking Yixi, "What's wrong? You look so pale. Are you feeling unwell?" Jing Xiaozi immediately looked at Yixi. Seeing Yixi's haggard face and listless appearance, he asked Yixi anxiously, "What's wrong with you?" Then, Jing Xiaozi realized that he was a little anxious. His face became serious, and he pulled out the chair heavily. The chair made a harsh sound as it rubbed against the floor. She sat down and said coldly, "Since you are a surrogate mother, you should take care of your body at all times. Before you give birth to the child, your body is not your own. You are not allowed to appear in front of me with this sickly look." Yixi looked at Jing Xiaozi with a sad expression. Then she lowered her head and whispered, "I know." Her entire body was sore and uncomfortable, but it was impossible for her to not get up when it was time. Ning Shu looked at Jing Xiaozi's awkward expression. He was clearly concerned about Yixi, but the words that came out of his mouth were very unpleasant. Yixi was obviously tortured last night, and did not sleep at all. He was forced to exercise the whole night, and had to wake up early in the morning. Jing Xiaozi was angry when he saw Yixi like this. When he was eating breakfast, the sound of the knife and fork colliding with the plate was very loud. While cutting breakfast, Jing Xiaozi looked at Yixi. When he saw that Yixi was eating breakfast with her head lowered, he became even angrier. He slammed the knife and fork on the table, and couldn't help but say coldly to his mother, "Mom, look at the surrogate mother you found. Can the child born with such a half-dead appearance be healthy?" Jing Xiao's mother smiled when she saw her son's angry look. "She just didn't have a good rest last night. Yishi is very healthy. Why are you so anxious?" Ning Shu also looked at Jing Xiaoza. "Why are you so anxious? You are the most gentlemanly person. How can you say such outrageous things to Miss Yi?" Ning Shu looked at Jing Xiaoza with a faint smile. In front of the person he loved, he couldn't control his emotions. A gentlemanly man would also become childish and naughty. Just like a little boy, he would tease a girl to attract her attention. Jing Xiaoza was like this now. Ning Shu had a gentle smile on his face. "Oh, you are in love with each other, but you are suppressing your feelings because of others. This is all my fault. I will definitely take good care of my body," Yishi said quickly when she saw that the people at the table were quarreling. "Okay, shut up and eat," Jing Xiao's father said. He glanced at his son and said, "Why are you making such a fuss? Why are you being so clumsy?" Jing Xiao's father had absolute prestige in the Jing family. When he spoke, no one dared to speak. Jing Xiao's father was elegant and handsome. Jing Xiao's outstanding appearance was inherited from his father. Jing Xiao's father had tacitly agreed to the surrogacy. Otherwise, Jing Xiao's mother wouldn't dare to do such a thing. It seemed that Nai Jing was the only outsider in this family who didn't know anything. Ning Shu pursed his lips and lowered his head to eat his breakfast. He already had a plan in his heart. Ning Shu hated Jing Xiao's mother very much. Why did a woman have to make things difficult for another woman? Why did she find a mistress for her son and break up the relationship between Jing Xiaoza and Nai Jing? Ning Shu suspected that Jing Xiao's mother had a deep hatred for Nai Jing. Was it because Nai Jing couldn't give birth to a child? The most hateful person in this matter was Jing Xiaoza. He said that he loved Nai Jing, but his body and mind had cheated on her. If he really loved Nai Jing, he wouldn't have slept with Yi Shi and had a child with another woman behind his wife's back. He even had the nerve to say that he loved Nai Jing. Anyway, no one would have a good life. After breakfast, Jing Xiaoza kept looking for a chance to talk to Yi Shi, but Yi Shi went directly to her room to rest. With so many people watching, Jing Xiaoza couldn't go to Yi Shi's room directly. Jing Xiaoza went to work with a sullen face, as if someone owed him money. Ning Shu asked Jing Xiao's mother, "When can Miss Yi have the surgery? I think it's better to hurry. The longer Miss Yi stays in our house, the worse her reputation will be." Jing Xiao's mother frowned. "Let's wait for a while." Ning Shu didn't ask any more. He guessed that Jing Xiao's mother was waiting for Yi Shi to get pregnant naturally and give birth to the heir of the Jing family. "I'll ask Yi Shi if she's feeling unwell. Should she go to the hospital?" Jing Xiao's mother went to Yi Shi's room. Ning Shu hurried upstairs and turned on the computer. The screen showed Jing Xiao's mother and Yi Shi. Yi Shi was sitting on the bed. Jing Xiao's mother stood by the bed and said to Yi Shi, "How are you feeling? Do you want to go to the hospital?" Yi Shi's face was a little red. She shook her head and said, "I'm fine. I'm just too tired." Jing Xiao's mother showed a look of understanding. "You have to get pregnant quickly." Yi Shi's face instantly turned red. Even her neck was pink. She whispered, "Mrs. Jing, I'll try my best, but can you get pregnant artificially? It's not good." Jing Xiao's mother said faintly, "What's not good about it? Your duty is to give birth to the heir of the Jing family, and it has to be a healthy heir." "But Nai Jing," Yi Shi looked guilty. "She won't be able to bear it if she finds out." Yi Shi looked at Jing Xiao's mother. "Is this really okay? If it weren't for the problem with her father's company, she would definitely not be a surrogate mother. She was not married, and she would give birth to someone else's child, who was not related to her by blood." You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.